Good evening, Hotfix Nation, and welcome to Hidden Heroes. This is the Hotfix show where we aim to showcase speedrunners who are part of underrepresented and marginalized communities in gaming and the games that they're passionate about and want to show off. I am your host, Anarchy, and since it's March 31st and it's the last day of Women's History Month, as well as the actual I wanted to celebrate some femme runners and the games that they run with femme protagonists. So we're gonna have a great night. I have a great lineup lined up for you tonight. Up first, we're gonna have the GOAT Vane, who will be running Jet Set Radio Future with a amazing couch. I'm very excited for that. And then after that, we're gonna have Sanjan, who's gonna be running Octopath Traveler, a little bit of a run back from Frost Fatales. The shirt bit for today is this awesome shirt from GDC 2025, which I had an absolute blast at, and that segues me perfectly into a couple of quick announcements before we get started. If you've missed any of the shows on Hotfix, including the VODs from Hotfix at GDC or the amazing Trans Day Visibility Showcase this weekend, or other events like Back to Black and Frost Fatales, please check out the VODs at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. Also, since this ends in about 2 hours-ish, I do want to shout out SGDQ Summer Games Done Quick 2025 will be live in Minneapolis from July 6th through the 13th. If you would like to volunteer or run at the event, please submit your applications by March 31st, which is today, ends at 11:59 EST, which is, like I said, in about 2 hours. Also, you can register to attend the event by May 26th. Use !SGDQ in the Twitch chat or visit gamesdonequick.com for more information. But without further ado, like I said, we have a goated set of gamers ready to take the mic. So without further ado, Vane, Twin, take it away.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Hello, GDQ. So, like Anarchy said, we're going to do some Jet Set Radio Future Any Percent tonight. If you were watching during the Trans Day Visibility Weekend, you'll saw that even just yesterday we were doing some bingo, and now we're going to be showing off full game with a couple of commentators who were also present yesterday. If you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Hello, we're back. Can't get rid of us.
We are so back.
We're so back. I am Twinkachu. I am half of the commentary.
I'm Shovel Claus. I'm the other half. Hi.
Hi.
Very excited.
This is a very cool category called Any Percent, but we're getting some of the extra female characters.
Yes, the best category, I think.
No boys allowed. Get out.
No boys allowed except for like the first minute and a half or so.
Yo-Yo gets to peep in, I guess. It's chill.
Yeah, he gets to pass.
You kind of rock with him, but like not that much.
Anyways, don't want to delay too much longer. We're gonna hit new game and get going here in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. So, like was mentioned, we are starting off as Yo-Yo in the garage here. We are new to the Rudy's, the GG's gang, and we are getting trained by Gum and Corn here. We're just going over very basic mechanics of the game, how to jump, how to grind, how to spray graffiti, and things of that nature.
Yeah, this is the tutorial level. It is just teaching us how to get around. And then once we know how to do that, we get to have fun.
I have an important question for chat, and this is a very important question to determine how the run goes. Are we watching the DJK cutscenes? Are we doing all that?
we're doing all that tonight, as always.
Yes.
Okay, we're getting the full lore.
I made sure I specifically changed my DJK.
I saw manual. I was like, ooh, we're cooking. All right. Yeah, so we're going to get some cans, spray some graffiti. Gum's going to teach us how to do a boost dash, which costs 10 cans. Cans are a really important resource. We cannage, that's the actual word we use, them over the course of the run and make sure that we have cans when we need them. So a lot of the game's movement comes down to when you use cans and when you don't, as well as graffiti routes, which we'll get into in a little bit, affecting how canagement actually works.
Yeah, so you need your cans both for movement tech and for like regular game progression. So
yeah, it's really sick.
That is one of the main mechanics of the run.
Turns into a really interesting routing challenge as well.
Yeah, it'll be a really interesting routing challenge once we get out of the world's longest cutscene. Is how
Yeah.
that one starts.
DJ Professor K, the host of this pirate radio station here, has given us kind of the lowdown on what's going on here in Tokyo too. We just got big evil Goji Rokaku, who's a corrupt police leader slash billionaire. I don't know. Bad guy. Corrupt police force, just trying to take all our freedom of expression down. They do not like expression.
They're not rocking with our expression. It's unlucky. Fortunately, we have a very capable gang to take them on. We're meeting a few of the villains here. This is Hayashi. We'll meet him plenty later. But we have 3 crew members here. The first one that you saw in Garage was Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo is typically who we play as in this first chapter, but we're gonna flip the script a little bit. Secondly is Corrin, who... Yeah, moving on to the most important character, Gum. Gum has the best stats out of anyone in any percent, so we usually use her for everything beyond Chapter 2, because it's faster for reasons that I'm sure will not explain. But we're gonna swap to her immediately, because we need a woman in our lives right now, you know?
Exactly.
Their vibe is
right
immaculate. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Oh, yeah.
All the characters in this game are amazing.
It's just great character design across like everyone in the game. It's kind of crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
there are a few stinkers, so we'll meet one at the end of Dogenzaka Hill, which we'll get into in a little bit. Also, I do want to say, before we get into more gameplay here very soon, this game is a retelling of Jet Set Radio, the first game, set in the year 2024. Maybe Trinkachu can correct me on that.
That is correct. Last year,
Cool.
the year of JSRF.
This all happened
really?
last year.
All of
Yeah,
this
this is
canonical
how
happened last
2024 happened.
Yeah.
And because of that, it actually goes through a very similar story, but with a few key changes. And we get a very similar world with a lot of staple locations from Jet Set Radio, kind of in their alternate universe formats. It's a really cool open world game where you go around spraying graffiti and defeating cops. It's great. This game's
It's a
awesome.
good time. We're entering our first actual level that isn't a tutorial or a cutscene, so we actually get to play the game now. Unfortunately, this level is a big circle, because we're still on training mode. But we get to actually interact with what the level structure looks like in the game. So this is Dogenzaka Hill. It is a big circle. We're going to run around spraying graffiti and picking up collectibles. We have our first collectible right here. This is a graffiti soul. We need to get 20, I think, of them during the run.
I think 20 is correct.
It's going to be real embarrassing if I'm wrong about that.
It's fine. We don't run this game. We commentate this game. That's
Yeah.
Man's job.
I know.
I have to
numbers
know these
so
things.
well.
I only know some of these
Right.
things even then. Because I don't need to know everything. I only need to know how to beat game quick.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting into spraying graffiti now, and graffiti is a really dynamic and interesting piece of this game because it does a little bit more than you would expect. You can hold down the right trigger to spray graffiti, or use cans to spray graffiti, of course. And one of the things that it actually does that is really interesting is shift the camera to look at the wall. We call this graffiti camera. Graffiti camera actually alters how your movement works fundamentally because you move relative to the camera. So if the camera angle changes, your movement changes. And also there's a thing called graffiti cam lock. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But because of that, the movement in this game actually becomes very fluid and dynamic, where you need to adjust as you progress the game. And there's a lot of really interesting strats to take advantage of this or kind of circumvent it in unique ways.
Yeah, graffiti cam, when you're kind of starting out, is a really annoying thing to deal with, but once
Yes.
you get the hang of it, it makes the gameplay look so smooth and so fluid as you're running through these routes.
Yeah, you'll notice I do have my input display like kind of on the bottom of the screen. It's a little small. I probably could have made it a little bigger, but there's a lot of funny nonsense with the left stick I'm going to be doing to try and work around the graffiti cam.
Yeah,
Here
it's
I'm picking
I
up
love
a
funny nonsense. This is great.
I'm picking up a mystery tape there. That's a surprise tool that will help us later. With the mystery tape in this game, there's a mystery tape in every level. It unlocks a set of challenges that you can do. For example, like grind a certain amount of times, do a certain number of tricks, etc. And that doing one of those challenges will unlock a graffiti soul. as opposed to kind of the default souls that are just kind of laying there for free that you can pick up. Gonna be just picking up one count it, one here, which is why we like near the end of the game.
Yeah,
because
so
it makes sense routing wise.
we're gonna pick up that tape and unlock one soul, and that will be the only soul we unlock for the entire run. You unlock all of the souls for more completionist categories, like 100%, but specifically this one is the only one that is faster to unlock, rather than picking up a default one. So that 3 air trick combo unlocked it. We'll pick it up later, and now we're racing against this guy.
Some unlucky movement there. There's a trick in this race against who's this? What's this guy's name? I don't care. It's he, him. Get out. This guy wants to race us around Nogenzaka Hill. Thankfully, it's a lap, so it's a pretty easy race, and he is quite slow in all reality. So I'm sure he's far behind us now. But there's a trick at the start of this race Vane went for but missed called Negative Shuffle, where you boost in front of that guy to cut ahead of him and then turn around and hit a shuffle in order to stop your momentum right as soon as you bump into him, and that gives you a bunch of negative speed that starts stacking up. It's also a good time to explain shuffles, because we haven't yet. Shuffles are what makes this game's movement actually good. There's a beta build out there on the internet somewhere that you can play without shuffles. It is the worst feeling video game of all time.
It sucks so bad.
It sucks so bad, and it's like 3 months before the game release. It's awesome. This mechanic, shuffling, is where after a boost, or any time during movement, but we'll be using it after a boost, is you click in the stick, and then you start doing this little shuffle across the ground. You can see a gum just kind of kick it in on the sides and skate across the ground, and that delays how fast you lose speed. So we'll be using that a lot after boosts, for example, to maintain our speed. Or if we go down a hill, shuffle at the end of it in order to maintain that downhill speed. It's a huge boon to our momentum control.
What's really interesting about shuffling is that it isn't even intended to be like a speed preservation mechanic. Like, the game shows you how to do it once in the tutorial, and it's oh, you can do this to, steady out your movement while you're spraying graffiti, and it's a core part of speed control in the run.
That's interesting. I didn't know.
It's really interesting, yeah.
That's so strange.
This game is really good at accidentally having really interesting physics.
That's so true. And now we're spray painting a bunch of cops because what else would you do on a Monday night? These guys are quite weak, so all they take is a little bit of spray paint, and they disintegrate, I guess. Now we're getting
spray paint in this world is very powerful.
Cops are not spray paint proof.
For the best, really, if you think about it. Otherwise, it'd be a lot harder. So we're getting into the second level here, Shibuya Terminal, where we're meeting the PJs. Look away. These guys are mighty scary and a rival gang in the game, and will make up the first kind of act of the game that we call PJ%. Don't worry about it.
It's also Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 a little bit.
Yeah.
No, it's just the first 3 chapters, never mind.
Yeah, first 3. See, I run PJ%, so I know this. The PJs have sprayed Shibuya Terminal, and we're gonna come in right behind them and spray all of their disgusting-looking tags up. They're not that bad. Come on, guys.
I think they're pretty cool.
I think they're pretty cool. I like PJ. I'm just beefing with them for no reason. But here is a really important time to talk about quick turning. Quick turning is another time where JSRF accidentally becomes the coolest movement game on the original Xbox. All the characters in the game, whenever you flick back on the stick, will kind of do this stop and skid turnaround. That skid is really strange. If you move to the left after a skid, you can keep moving after a skid, and you just instantly turn 45 degrees. And you can use that to instantly, on a dime, pivot your angle. And it is the most important movement tech in the game. It is Wonderful. Quick
Yeah, you're
turns
gonna
are the
be
coolest
seeing it
movement
everywhere.
ever.
It's so
technically
sick.
you're canceling the skid animation like
Yes.
as soon as it starts, so it just turns you, which is not what the game developers intended, but it works really well.
Yeah, it's also worth noting it doesn't work if you go to the right after a quick turn for some reason that I'm sure Twickenshue might know.
I don't actually know.
Damn it, the one thing. Oh well.
I
But quick
probably
turns
know
are
and
really
can't
cool.
remember, but yeah,
That's also
very cool.
fair and real.
Yeah,
So,
and if you remember, again, with when going into Graffiti Cam, your movement is relative to the camera. That does apply to quick turns as well. It kind of looks like I'm just wiggling my stick wherever in the opposite direction. It kind of is what it is, but it's like it's controlled wiggling.
Yeah.
that's what this game is all about, controlled wiggling.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we totally didn't even mention this. We covered up all of the Poison Jam graffiti, and they challenged us to this little movement. Not quite like a race. They're just... I don't
Probably
really
like
know.
they
Horse, I don't know.
What the game intends for you to do is to like follow the exact path that Poison Jam is taking, but it doesn't check any of that. It just checks that you get to the end location. So we're just chasing them, basically.
Yep. And then once we chase him off, Combo, our good friend here, joins the party, and he wants us to actually copy his line, and this time the game does kind of check that you don't touch the ground at least. We're not going to do it exactly the same, but we'll do it close enough that the game thinks it's fine.
No, we're gonna do exactly the same thing. Okay, watch what Combo is doing
I haven't watched
really
this
closely.
in a while.
Watch closely. Watch.
Watch what Combo is doing really closely, because we're gonna do exactly the same
This
thing.
will
with
be
no
on the
changes.
test.
Watching.
I see.
Okay.
I haven't
Taking
watched
notes right
80%
now.
in a while, so this must be new strats, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we used to have something a lot slower then, huh?
Alright, now we're doing exactly the same thing. See, this is exactly the same.
Oh, no.
Aw,
Wow, you messed it up, SMH.
my bit.
It's okay, we're still doing it exactly the way he intended.
Exactly
Right,
the same. Following the exact same route, hitting all the exact same rails.
Exact same technique, just everything.
Yeah, nailed it. See,
Just
Yeah.
perfect.
just like Combo.
Well then. Yeah, that was a new strat. I've never seen that before. I could be mean right now. Do I be mean right now?
No.
Being nice.
Okay, I'll be nice.
Alright, so now once again, the police are very angry at us, and they're going to attack us.
This is where we meet Hayashi, the main antagonist, kind of, for the first few chapters, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah.
He's kind of a freak, I don't really know.
You don't have to call him that.
I'm going to. It's the most accurate way to describe him, and I want all of our lovely chatters to understand what I'm talking about.
He's not. He's kind of a very pathetic villain, I will say.
Yeah,
He's,
but
also, this cop fight doesn't check that you're actually completely spraying down Hayashi. Like, it just ignores him. So you don't actually have to like damage him at all in this fight.
Yeah. Also, both of those cop fights in Dogen and Shibuya feel so much better with Gum. It's insane.
yeah, we usually don't play as Gunter, so you know what? You're right.
Yeah, so that was chapter 1. We're heading into chapter 2. Poison Jam has run away into Chuo Street here.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep following him. This is the chapter where we would normally be playing as Gum, so from here on out, it is, until a certain point, it is just gonna be Gum.
We also meet Rapid 99, the queens of 99th Street. Slay, oh my god. Anyways, these guys are know where Poison Jam reside at in this really huge world of Tokyo To, and we're gonna go to them at the end of the chapter for some information, but it's not gonna come easily, of course.
In this
And
chapter,
Hayashi
this
Insight.
oh yeah, he's back. This chapter also is the game is going to start sending us a little further out into the map. In chapter 1, you're only in these two areas that are immediately accessible from the main hub, and now we get to go a step further into some new areas. It'll be a little more complicated.
Alright. Off we go. Yeah, so each this game can be kind of split up into 3 areas. You have like Shibuya-cho over here, and Shibuya-cho has its own couple of areas. One of them we're going into right now. You also have kind of the sewers side of things we'll be going over soon in Benten, and then also Kogane as well.
And each of these 3 areas kind of have their own identity. Shibuya-cho is this very active city. Kogane is this really kind of like a slum, pretty poor-looking area around a sewer. It's quite unique. And Benton is this really active nightlife scene. This game's visual identity we haven't even talked about is so good. Like, it's wonderful.
Each area kind of has its own like musical identity too. It's very cool. The theming is awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. I'm sure Anarchy is laughing at Vane's very good tweets. Oh no! The jump.
Okay. That's like about a 2-frame window to make that jump up there. There is a spray that we were trying to get. We were kind of on a timer there before these tanks spawn in, because that's reasonably what you do to teenagers spraying graffiti. But we'll just have to clean it up at the end. No big deal.
Yeah, that's a pretty minor time loss, all things considered.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Fortunately, the tanks are not spray paint proof, so that's easy enough to take care of.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why you
on
call
the
tanks
segments.
in on someone spraying graffiti if it's not immune to graffiti. Like, I figure the idea is to, like, get rid of them, but, like, they're not scared of you, we have graffiti.
Yeah, I think maybe the Rikaku group should invest in some, like, tarps to put over their machines. Maybe.
They should invest in some cool-ass art, like we do.
True.
Maybe then they'd be happier.
True.
But we're gonna finish up spraying this last tank, and then we're gonna go toss Hayashi off a bridge.
Quite
Don't
literally.
worry about it. I guess it's a roof and not a bridge, but close enough.
Yeah.
Alright, so Hayashi is on this roof, and this time, we actually have to spray him all the way down, but with all of these enemy interactions, there is this alternate win condition built in. And you can satisfy that for Hayashi by throwing him off the building.
He's okay, it's just a little bit of a bruise.
He's
and then
fine.
we're
He will
off
be back
into
later.
the graffiti route. Yep, he will be back with a vengeance. And honestly, that's fair. We did toss him off a roof.
Yeah.
No.
But we're starting to spray paint this graffiti. Chuo Street is one of my favorite routes in the entire game. This place is so good. And we're coming up on Right Canal here. Shout out Miku_DS. We're going to collect a extra can so we can boost into Cubby, which is right here. And that's 2 extra graffiti souls picked up along the way. And we also got the 3rd default in this area that we call south of Hayashi, because it's south of the building that we tossed Hayashi off of. When we got into the area, that entrance strat has quite a tight window, so very clean getting it. Unfortunate missing the jump, but oh well. And now into alleyway. Let's see if we can hit a few frame boosts if Twink, you wanna talk about what
Go ahead and explain
boosts
those
are?
while I attempt to hit like 1.
Yeah, it's a frame perfect trick, it's okay.
Yeah, that is why it is called a frame boost.
So true.
Another piece of accidentally very cool movement tech. When you jump on a rail, there's a speed boost that gets applied, because when you're grinding on a rail, you move faster than you do when you're walking. But after you jump onto a rail, 1 frame after you're on the rail, a cap gets applied, so that you don't just keep speeding up forever. But if you jump off of the rail, before that 1 frame cap can apply, you just get a massive speed boost. And you can chain a bunch of them together and it'll stack, and you can just fly around. Doing that in any percent is really hard because it's a string of frame-perfect tricks, but just individual frame boosts you'll see throughout the run just kind of accidentally.
Yeah, you can pay attention to the bottom left, or the bottom right. There's that little bar of red into blue. If the red goes over where it's all the way full, kind of like it was there, then that means that Vayne has hit a frame boost, unless she's grinding on a rail, of course. But it's visually very interesting because you can like really feel the speed, especially as you're playing. Vayne, you are going the wrong way. You need to talk to Poison Jam.
Oh, what?
Are you just
I gotta deal with something real quick. I'll come back to talk to them. It's fine.
Right, okay. They can wait. It's okay.
Yeah.
I guess we got more graffiti to spray anyways in RDH.
More important things to attend to.
Art is more important than talking to your friends. That might be a bad message to put out there, thinking about it.
I don't think there are friends.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Big scary lizards.
These bozos.
I could fix them.
This is Rokaku Dai Heights, an abandoned hill.
Alright, into Kogane. This is our first time into Kogane, and RDH, Rokaku Dai Heights. This area is super cool. It's super vertical. You can see these huge buildings all piled up on top of each other. It's a very unique area, to say the least.
This is one of the visually distinct things about the sewers areas, is that you see all of these stacks of houses and buildings piled up on top of each other.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we're gonna spray all the graffiti here. It's gonna be a good time bumping it to some of the best music in the game, if you ask me. Ooh, it's a lot of cans in this. I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, and here's our first extra thing in this totally legitimate category that we're doing. So there are a couple characters around the map that you can unlock by doing little movement challenges or races. The way that the game kind of prompts you to, for like, we saw that with Beat and with Combo. So some of them are required, some of them are optional. Rith is an optional one, but we're doing it because women.
Let's go women!
Let's go women!
Yeah!
Woo!
Rith also has the same stats as Yo-Yo, and so there's a point later in the game where you play as Yo-Yo, but since we have Rith, I think we can play as Rith instead.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Echo Fighter. Sorry to talk about Smash Brothers Ultimate, but...
Okay, first of all, it's called Smash Brothers during Women's Month? Hello?
Don't shoot the messenger.
Right. But we're gonna talk to Rith one more time, and that will be her unlocked. Woo! And then we're gonna go off and spray these last few there's a gate there. What are you gonna do about that?
Yeah,
we're gonna get told things.
Right.
Alright, here is the first major skip of the run.
Okay.
Sorry to spoil that. So normally in Chuo Street, you talk to Poison Jam, they challenge you to a race, you race them around, and then they go into this area, into Rokaku Dai Heights, and you follow them around, and then they knock down those gates. But instead, we're just going to go out of bounds and throw ourselves into the water and hit a death plane, and the game will assume that we couldn't have hit that from before the gates, so it'll respawn us after the gates, and then we save a couple minutes of chasing Poison Jam around doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes us into the second half of RDH, where cops start to ambush us, so we have a few of these cop fights. We're hoping that we can skip 2 of them, so that should, if things go well, be the only one you see here.
Yeah, these cop fights are... the trigger areas are around graffiti tags to force you to walk into them, but if you know where the triggers are, you can very carefully avoid them.
Yeah, the game tries to force you to go into them by placing graffitis in specific spots, too. So one thing you'll see Vayne doing very shortly is having to very carefully navigate around a graffiti in order to avoid the trigger while also getting the graffiti that is inside the trigger area. It's coming up right here, the next spray will spray.
This particular tag also is right around the spawn area for the largest cop fight in the game. It is so... it spawns so many cops that it will lag your console.
Yeah, it is literally a pipe bomb. It's crazy. We are not exploding today, very good. No console explosion. We're moving on.
Yeah, we just get to finish up this upper area, and then we're gonna drop back down and grab the last couple of tags that we passed on our way up.
I see chat is already having fun with birthday cake.
I love birthday cake.
It's a controversial track.
I know it's controversial.
Very nice.
I love birthday cake. There's a cop fight trigger around that
Very nice.
also that we just completely avoided.
Yeah, that you can spray the last one right before you get into the cop fight, and that's us getting out of RDH, but you'll see it plenty later on. Don't you worry.
Yeah, once you've sprayed all the graffiti, the game just assumes that you got to the top half of the map normally, and it opens the gate for you. It's very convenient.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's pretty easy to get out. No reverse rip skip for us, although that does exist.
Yeah, it is the worst.
If you are
Shout
to
out
be in
to
such
Rainbow.
an unfortunate situation.
Many a situation has occurred. Also, nice frame boost into our next level, 99th Street. This is centered around this huge Benton tower with this very stylish dragon wrapping around. It's one of my favorite landmarks in the entire game, despite how much it trolls me in bingo. 99th Street is really interesting because it's separated into 3 areas that we call center, light side, and dark side. And what Vane is going to do here as we start the level is go straight to light side in order to start a cop fight. And then we'll hit through that cop fight, spray some graffiti, and come back to center for our next big trick of the run, quick light.
Yeah, there's some interesting cop fight manipulation that happens in this run, or in this area. So there are 2 of these fights with these spotlights, with cops shooting at you. And
Don't ask
you have
about the
to
technology, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're cooking here. But you have to do at least one of these cop fights. So we do the one on the light side because it is a little bit faster than the other one. But doing this enables us to set up a skip for the other one using some dialogue, which we will see in a little bit.
Yeah, it's a really interesting skip technically, but I don't want to jump the gun on explaining it. We're gonna wrap up the light side with the graffiti tags here. Some of this movement is some of my favorite in the entire game. When you do it well, it's so satisfying. 99th is one of the best graffiti routes in this game. I love it.
I agree.
Yeah, each area of this level is kind of its own little circle that we get to go around and spray all of the tags on. But there are all of these wires crossing across the streets, and you get to just kind of jump around and spray all the tags.
Yeah,
and
that's
then we go back to center.
Yeah, and this is where we'll get set up for the dark side cop fight skip, where after spraying a few of these sprays, we will spray a save point, which these save points actually allow you to change character. When you change character, there's a kind of strange side effect where it reloads the entire area that you're in. So it's kind of like you're entering it from a different location. So you just came in from Garage and now you're Rith. And when this reload happens, you'll see that this dialogue at the bottom will start going, where the cops are talking to each other. That cop dialogue at the end of the cop dialogue has a trigger that will activate the trigger in Dark Side for the cop fight. So if that dialogue ends, the Dark Side cop fight gets spawned in. When you go to Dark Side, you'll have to fight the cops. However, at the bottom of Benton Tower here with this dragon, DJ K will talk to you like, hey, this is how you get out of 99th Street. And then when you talk to DJ K, or I guess when he interrupts the cops, which based honestly, he kind of cuts off the cop dialogue to not hit the end trigger. So that cop fight that cockfight never spawns in, so we just get to spray all of Darkside.
Yeah, there's a really interesting dialogue priority system happening, and DJK has higher priority dialogue. So when you go to the bottom of the
Damn
tower,
right.
he's telling you, hey, are you stuck in the bottom of this area? Climb up the tower to get out. And it interrupts the cop dialogue, and then the fight can never spawn. So there should be another spotlight fight happening right now in this area, but it never got the chance to spawn in, so we're just getting the graffiti.
We have a very important request, Vane. Can we make Vane hit a Bob L'Esponge?
Bolepon.
Bolepon.
Very good. Very good. And that wraps up 99th Graffiti. Good work.
Hooray.
At Shovel Claws, you can take the tail of the dragon. Mods? Alright. We're gonna meet Rapid 99 for the first time here, I guess the second time, where they're going to bribe us with some information in the form of a flag battle. The very simple gist of a flag battle is that we have to run around collecting 5 flags faster than they can. We're not gonna do that though.
We've got our fun alternate win condition thing coming back with an arguably even more fun variation. Throwing a guy off of a roof was fun, but this is better.
Yeah, this skip is sick. It's called Curse of the Evil Mushroom. You'll see why very shortly.
We can see the mushroom, we'll point it out. So basically, the original strat for this was that you go in advance to flags, so you let Rapid 99 collect the first one, and then you're already at the second. You can pick it up right away. But instead we realized you can follow Rapid 99 down the first path that they take, boost into them, and knock them into this water. And then
Just kill them.
Their pathing just messes up. It's trying to auto-path to the flag, which is on the other side of this bridge, but there's water in the way, so they just keep running into the water until they die.
You saw the mushroom very briefly.
Yeah,
at the end
I was gonna try and zoom in on it.
I respect trying to turn around for it, but we gotta make sure we're filled up on cans for chapter 3 here.
Yeah,
After...
there's an animatronic mushroom in the background while you're doing that trick.
It's the best, I love it. After defeating Rapid 99, they give us the info that Poison Jam is naturally in the sewers. Oh, look at them, we could have guessed this, we didn't need to talk to them. Poison Jam is... so we're gonna follow Poison Jam into the sewers and try to take them down once and for all from the inside? From their side? I don't know. We're going somewhere with this. But chapter 3 is the shortest chapter in this game for important reasons. So.
We'll see why in a second. Thank you, Hatsune Miku, for this critical information.
Where am I going?
Alright, we're back.
Back to Shibuya, I guess.
We're Gum again. Goodbye, Riff.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Goodbye, Riff.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a moderate Riff fan. I like Gum more, I'm sorry.
That's
I like
fair.
Gum
They
more.
might eat me up in the chat for that.
I'm a Riff fan, but I'm not like a Gum
Nice frame
hater.
boost. Nice frame boost!
Oh,
No third.
I'll take a
Lucky.
double.
A double is pretty sick. And into the sewers. We're gonna let Vane hit this skip before going into what it actually does. We have some time after.
If you played
But,
this game, if you played through this casually, I'm sorry potentially. Nice.
Nice!
Nice.
That
Yeah.
is Cucumber. That is one of the hardest tricks in the game. It sucks.
Yeah.
it's the worst. The sewers are even worse, though. Anyone who played this game casually will remember the pain of climbing up the sewers, falling all the way down, dying.
Yeah, so that skips the entire sewers level. The way it works is you clip through that half pipe in the bottom there. Very precise. Also a quick clip out of bounds to get to the center of bottom point here. We'll talk about it later. But Cucumber allows us to clip through that half pipe in the sewers and then fall out of bounds, and then the respawn point is actually past the area that we'd be stuck in a tutorial in for a while, and also past this trigger that makes sewers kind of lock down and make us have to climb all the way back up in order to get to this area, bottom point. It is a really hard trick. For years, it was known about, but couldn't be replicated. Then it got used in a world record run, and then things have gone from there to where you kind of need it for a top 10 time. But
yeah, there's a much easier version that is just the sewer skip, but you still have to do this little movement tutorial at the start that teaches you how to move around in half pipes. So Cucumber lets you skip both the sewers and this tutorial. If you're doing regular
really
sewer
fast.
skip. Yeah, super fast. If you're doing regular sewer skip, you still have to do this weird little tutorial. And now we're at the final fight with Poison Jam, which is the first arc of the story. We're chasing them around the sewers.
Oh no!
Oh, got can scammed. That can happen if you hit Poison Jam sometimes. It is occasionally very mean. Did that guy jump back up?
Maybe
He might have.
that is not a common occurrence. At least on this one specifically. We just have to come into this other room and clean them up.
This fight is a little tricky because you can hold 30 cans at once, and each Poison Jam takes 30 cans of damage to kill, basically. So if you waste any cans at all, you have to go get more. And also, if you bump into them, their pathing goes crazy.
This guy's okay. Thank God.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Sometimes the AI can like bug out really bad here, and this guy will just keep going back and forth on the upper rails. I'm just gonna make sure I don't get scammed. It can that as far as that fight goes, that's about the best you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, getting can scammed for one can is not bad.
Yeah. It's a very particular fight. There's a lot of like really small, like invisible things you have to be wary of. But we're out of there.
The station that's
We
so
did it.
smooth.
Like Bill
Your ears
Clinton.
won't even know what hit 'em. Jet Set Radio.
I couldn't resist. We're into chapter 5, chapter 4, one of the hardest chapters in the game, movement and skip-wise. It has a few very big skips that are really tricky that we'll see in a few of the levels we visit for the first time here.
Yeah, this is where the run gets hard. The very beginner-friendly category is called PJ%, and you run up until the end of that fight that we just finished. Because it's a good introduction to the game. After this point, it gets tricky. Here we're seeing our next rival game.
Yeah, lore update, Yo-Yo's gone. They just
Oh,
took
also
him.
Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo got kidnapped.
About damn time, get him out. It's ladies' night. No boys allowed.
The noise tanks are bringing one street team after another under their control.
Yo-Yo's gone. We're getting an introduction to these other street gangs that we are going to have to deal with. This is out in the skyscraper district over in the Benton area that we were just in. It's just past the 99. We're not going quite there yet. For now, we are heading back into Shibuya to take out different street gangs' turf, essentially.
Yeah, so we are heading into Hikage Street. Although we're gonna pick up some souls that we passed earlier. That piece of movement is called boostless bus jump because for a long time we thought you had to boost to get onto those buses and get the souls.
Turns out, nope.
Turns out you can do whatever you want.
But it's pretty hard, so good work. Into Hikage Street, we're going to start out not doing much graffiti at all because there are 3 kind of distinct branches. Kind of think of it like a tree you would draw as a child where it's like the one big leaf at the top and then the 2 side leaves, you know? We're going to go to the big leaf at the top first where Terror Drone resides. I bet you didn't know that guy was living in the trees that you drew as a kid. This joke sucks. Anyways,
Quote-unquote experimental weapon.
Here we're gonna move really quickly so that we can climb up this center structure while Hayashi is talking.
Rail magnetism fails us once more, unlucky.
It happens.
So he's going to spawn in, and this is going to put us off a little bit of a cycle, but that's okay. This is certainly recoverable.
Look at this thing.
Yeah, this thing is ugly, and also still not spray-proof resistant, so we're going to climb to the top up here, and then ride the rails around the Terror Drone itself, And when we do that, the Terror Drone is going to take a few sprays at most, interrupt us, and then we're hoping to hit a few more sprays after this cutscene ends, but it can be a bit of a tricky timing if you're not on top of things.
You do, quite literally, you do want to get on top of Terror Drone instead of the kind of rail here, so we could get flung off. No, we're good.
We're good.
Saved?
Yeah,
Very
sometimes
nice.
those rails don't line off and it'll fling you off of the whole structure. Also, if you wait too long, the Terror Drone starts spitting out bombs and they can blow you up and knock you down. Which is fun and exciting.
Yeah, this fight's pretty infamous for being one of the most annoying parts of the game. I know I hated it when I played it casually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it takes quite a bit to like really understand how you need to move in that fight.
And now we're onto the graffiti route, at least for a little bit. That's our main threat taken care of. There are some other cop fights that we'll have throughout Hikage, but honestly, they're kind of a blessing in disguise, because otherwise the canage in this level would be awful.
Yeah.
It would be the worst. So, they let us refill our cans some when we get to them.
Crucially, when you bump into cops, they spit out cans, which is very helpful.
Everyone has an artist in them, I guess.
Yeah, so true. Very helpful for specifically this level. I mean, some of the other ones too, but this is where it's really critical.
Yeah. So after spraying this big old structure, Hikage Street is also very well known for these big things being really easy to fall off of. So even as speedrunners, this is a plague. If you're very specific with your movement, usually it doesn't happen, and Vane's good enough to where hopefully it won't, but maybe by saying that I've cursed her.
Potentially.
Where falling is actually just like the most annoying thing ever. As speedrunners, thankfully we have a few things that we can do to circumvent the huge time losses, but lord, it is annoying.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's a little precise, the climbing back up. And also if you fall down during the Terror Drone fight, it starts to lag, and so you have to climb back up while your console is lagging.
It is the best. Everything rocks. Into our first cop fight here. This introduces armored cops, where they did something about being resistant to spray cans. Too bad it's not resistant to a boost. What the hell, guys? So all we have to do is boost them down and then spray them when they're knocked over without armor. Really fumbling the bag.
Yeah, it's, if anything, like a slightly more.
Oh!
Right?
That was kind of nasty.
Frame perfect jump.
Yeah, that
Was
is
that also with the frame boost?
That was a 2-frame jump to skip a lot of the climb up here. I can't. No, we're fine. So that's a 2-frame jump to skip a lot of the climbing that it would normally take. Saves like roughly 10 seconds. Also just hit kind of a frame boost after it because I don't like it.
The goat.
Here's the goat, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not necessary. But yeah, so that's gonna finish up that side. We're just going to head over to the other side of Hikage Street, the right side, where you may or may not guess, there's more cops.
This one, they decided to be nice though. There's this big metal beam that goes from the ground up to the top of the structure. So that was considered this time, I guess.
I don't know why they did it only for this room and not the rest. This room is also like the easiest one to climb. Why this one?
Yeah. I don't know. They were feeling generous.
For fun. And then we'll finish up this route. And we'll be off into our next level before you know it. Honestly good. Hikage Street is a ridiculously hard area to run. It is, you know, Twink said that this is where the run gets hard. Hikage Street is kind of just like a wrecking ball that smashes through the flow of any percent to be like, you're resetting your run like 90% of the time. Sorry. And that's immediately after Cucumber too, which is saying something like, relax.
Yeah, no, you get Cucumber and then this, and then the next area we're going to has the other hardest trick in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Cucumber is like the hardest singular trick in the game. The next thing that we'll see is the hardest like sequence in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
They're different kinds of challenge.
Yeah, the JSRF is actually really good about that. This game is not very skip heavy. We have a few things at that we can kind of use, but for the most part, your skill expression comes from how good you are at the movement. And with good movement, you can do a whole lot more stuff that is really cool and makes this game kind of timeless in a way. This game came out in 2002, and people still run it to this day and still get into it to this day.
And they're still
really cool.
finding new tech for the speedrun to this day.
Yeah, it's really, really cool and very fun.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Surprisingly good speed game. I mean, it's not surprising. It seems like a game that would be
Yeah.
a good speed game. But still, it's a little surprising just how good a speed game it is.
I mean, considering a bunch of the movement tech is kind of accidental, it is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Nice frame boost, and we're back
Sorry.
into the sewers.
I swear some of these devs have like a time machine or something. There's so much stuff that's just like oddly convenient.
Oddly convenient, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, into the next hardest part of the game. So this is Kibogaka Hill, where the cops are gonna send some helicopters after us, because of course they are. Why would they not? But if we can get out of the trigger area that spawns in the helicopters before they spawn in, we don't have to deal with them. Unfortunately, there are cats in that area, so we're gonna have to go fast.
Yeah. We'll let this one rip it.
Yeah.
This might be a little scary.
Frame it. I like it.
Aerial squadron to HQ. We have acquired the target and are commencing attack.
This is Hayashi. Don't let those bombs destroy the helicopter.
Aerial squadron to Captain Hayashi.
This is gonna be really close.
Okay.
Just at the end. That is so
Yeah.
unfortunate. Hey, wait, show off stall launch.
Oh, true,
I
there's
could.
cool backup tech. Also, ignore what I said. These helicopters, they are
You should just start and restart, by the way.
What's up?
Start and restart. It takes you back to the start.
Yeah.
I forget that's a thing, yeah.
I don't run this game, by the way. Alright, you get to see the bonus DLC helicopter fight. Congrats.
Hooray!
Alright, so...
The helicopter's also not spray paint resistant, even a little bit. And now we get to see something crazy.
Prepare yourselves. Very nice.
We're gonna go flying through the map.
Alright.
That's called stall launch. The gist of it is that you kind of get stuck on that rail, and when you get stuck on that rail, you do constant frame boosts, building up to a 2,000 speed, and that allows you to, at the very end, whenever you're detaching from the rail naturally, hit a jump, and then fly through a wall, and then just fly through the map into a later part of the stage, and it's very useful for this helicopter fight that usually you wouldn't see. But even when you miss skips, very hard skips, by the way, I do want to re-emphasize that heli skip is not easy. So
yeah, missing that
close,
came down to
fuck.
me not shuffling at like the very beginning of that sequence.
Yeah,
That is how
that
little of a
close.
window you're working with.
It is a, like, 30 or 40 seconds of perfect movement is what you need to hit that.
Yeah.
It's a super difficult trick.
I guess we're just gonna do a reverse Kibo here.
Fun.
Yeah, we get a fun alternate route. Yeah, so
yeah.
instead we get to fly through half of the map. There are lots of well, there are a couple of places in the map where the
unlock
game
Boogie,
lets
by
you
the
do
way.
that. Oh yeah,
Mark
more
Moody
wind.
for the fans. Alright.
For the
More
fans. Why not? This is Boogie. This is Kibo's secret little character that we unlock for fun and enjoyment.
Yeah.
The only thing that we need to do is climb up this hill, or I guess this platform. So we're gonna climb up the platform and then talk to her. Yay! Shout out
one gives
Nationess.
This one gives us a timer, which is mildly
Scary.
stressful.
Ooh.
Okay.
There we go. Let's
Go
give it
for
up
fun
for
unlock.
women.
Yay, women!
Alright. And back into reverse Kibo. This is a really interesting route. This is kind of posed as a, like, beginner alternative strat if you're not going for heli skip. And knowing it very convenient right now for when you use heli skip.
I've not
this
done
route's
this in
actually really
quite a
cool.
bit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of backwards Kibo too. It's a really interesting route. It takes you through areas in very unique ways. Like this jump here is so cool, where to spray that small there, like it's so interesting. Even the backups for this game are cool. Like it's just that easy.
Yeah, I love how many different route options there are for all of the levels, for every possible skill set. If you're a new runner, chances are there's a beginner-friendly route for everything.
Wait, can you hit Kigo Baka?
I could try for it a couple times.
That'd be kind of cool. Because the only ones you have left are at the start, right?
Yeah.
So, we would normally be looping back around to the area I stall launched past earlier to finish up the beginning, but because of a silly little mistake, we are going to come over there. Nice.
First
Wow,
try,
man.
easy. You know what? We're freestyling it in Kibo today. That's chill. I'm okay with this, frankly, because that was cool as hell.
Yeah, so if you need to get back to start from that point halfway through the map, there is this convenient little clip that you can do. It's a little tricky, but...
A little bit, but Vane's the best.
Yeah, that's bingo strategy.
Yeah, I mean,
not
there's a
the
reason you won
following,
yesterday.
I suppose so. How do I want to get back here? I'll just do some of this.
Yeah, I think you're just turn around here. It's fine.
Yeah,
More
so,
freestyling for the fans. But
a little
you can
off
kind of
script,
see
but...
why Kibo is considered one of the hardest levels in the game. Even someone as good as Vane making mistakes, who would have guessed? It has hands.
Indeed.
Kibo's got hands. It's okay that we did it.
Yeah, we are
defeated.
done with the nightmare.
We get to leave. Not quite for the rest of the run, but mostly for the rest of the run.
Yeah.
We have to come back one time for someone who is stinky and smelly. That we'll see.
We have to come back for like 5 seconds. Also.
Yeah.
We are done with doing any actual gameplay in Kibo.
Yeah.
Thank God. Well, hey, that cop fight skip in Kibo later is cool. Don't you want to stick around for it? That's the one thing you're waiting for. But we're going back out of Kogane, crossing the map far and wide to go into our last graffiti route for chapter 4 here. Skyscraper District and Faro Park. This one is not quite as hard. It's a little bit scary if you don't do something safe, which I think Vane's going to do the safe route, so we should be okay on that front.
Here's a little bit of news for you. It's been a minute since I've done the safe route, so I'm just gonna do the normal route safely.
The safe route is supposed to pick up an extra can. Skyscraper is a different kind of challenge, especially if you're a new player. It's a really intimidating layout for a level. It is giant, and there are not that many rails. So most of the time you are on top of a building, or you are falling to your death.
Yeah, and deaths can be pretty costly, casually. Like, you get kind of sent to the middle of nowhere in a lot of cases. But before we enter the level, a quick little cop fight. Wouldn't be a
quick
level
little
without a
Hayashi
cop fight.
cameo.
Yeah.
This guy's back for some reason.
I like the synchronized, grunts those two made. That was interesting.
Yeah, those cops in particular have very strange AI. They do just kind of do whatever, so being able to having their AI, group up all together there is very nice.
Yeah. And then into Hayashi. Hayashi here is, a dead end now.
No.
Alright.
Same as Hayashi fights always are. We don't get to throw him off a building here, but you know.
Oh, dude, imagine if we could throw him off a bridge, but actually this time.
Oh my god.
That would be so.
Alright, and now we're into the Skyscraper District. So there's this little central hub area where we're gonna get some tags, and then we're going to run off onto the tops of all of the skyscrapers. It's gonna be great. The thing that we really have to pay attention to here are the death planes. There is this very complicated map of all of the death planes and where all of them will respawn you. And so, using that knowledge, we can manipulate those to move around the map really quickly. Like that one.
Yeah, like this one.
The game is expecting you to be falling from way, way above where you are. So with a slightly precise, but not actually that precise, jump, you can make the game send you all the way over to the side of the map.
And
Yep.
with this one, we go slightly right over here. And finish. Yeah, this whole level is just abusing these death warps. It's very,
really
very
cool.
cool routing. Yeah.
And this route has really stood the test of time too. There's been very few changes to it over the course of the last decade or so of this game's run.
This route is like a decade old and has been mostly unchanged.
There's one change that I think is in the world record that's very slightly different, but I don't actually remember if it's in the world record.
No, it's not in the world record. The route saves like frames, I think, and it's like a really hard jump.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's like the most minor of optimization.
Yeah, it's insane.
Here's a fun death warp that clicks through a bunch of buildings. It's called Onion, and then it lets you fall out the other side of this building and go to this other area where we have tags to do. So now we're out off of the right side of that central hub area. Gonna grab the last couple of tags. At this point,
this route.
we picked up an extra safety health can. At this point, normally you'd be at one hit, and then you pick up those health cans, and you're back up to full health. But just for safety, we grabbed some extra health.
Yeah, it is worth noting that if you die at any point in this run, like fully run out of HP, your run is just dead because this game does not have autosaves, and so you don't have a save.
You are dead forever.
Forever and ever.
Which sucks.
Dying on Ladies' Night is wild, I gotta say. Like, that's a new level of trying.
Alright, so for some reason these cans give you 2 apiece instead of 1 apiece.
It's because there are 2 cans stacked on top of each other.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah.
It's the same thing in Hikage.
Yeah,
it's just 2 cans stacked on top of
Which
each
is
other.
really funny.
We put them there twice.
Oops. Yeah, this game was slightly rushed. You'll see that plenty over the next few chapters.
You'll see it probably now, at least.
You'll see it in the next 45 seconds.
Yeah, the story begins to take a turn.
Yeah, we've been fighting rival crew battles and spraying graffiti, but that is the last graffiti route that you will see for the rest of this run, unless you count FRZ, which I wouldn't. I would call that something different.
That's the end of the gameplay loop we've seen so far. Also, we just went out of bounds entirely. The map doesn't think you should be able to get that far, and it sends you back to the center. Alright, now we've got another tagger's tag. We're gonna fight this gang called the Immortals. We're gonna do the whole fight right now for sure.
Whole fight. That's the whole fight.
That's the whole thing.
Yamsum_bunny in chat says, "Here it comes, the joke."
That's it. That's the joke. Alright.
Yeah, that fight is short for no real reason. We can't tell you why. They just die sometime randomly.
Where are you going?
I was grabbing.
We're going to finish the job.
I didn't remember how many cans were on this rail, so I just wanted to be sure. I'm heading into this next level with 30.
Yeah, so you need like 6 cans of damage to the Immortals there, and then they run away, and you have to follow them into this other area that we see one other time in any percent, which is a shame because it's a cool level. Also, we found Yo-Yo.
Hi, Yo-Yo.
Plot update. He's back. He's in a cage.
The Immortals kidnapped him, I guess. Alright, and this is where we will have the actual Immortals fight. We're going to start off with a boost to get to this rightmost one, and then jump over to this left rail to restock our cans. Immortals are not the strongest, so they don't take too many cans, so thankfully all of the cans we need for the fight are on these rails, and very clean execution.
They are, in fact, the weakest enemy in the game.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
Immortals and one other gang, the Love Shockers, have the same stats. They have the least health in the whole game.
I
If
see.
you are playing as them, you can take 3 hits of damage.
The radio show is comparing the PTA and the FBI.
Second plot update for you in the last minute. Yo-Yo kidnapped us. How the turntables. He's working with the mortals apparently.
He betrayed
We'll
us.
figure out more about this later on. Don't worry about it too much.
This is why we're Yo-Yo haters, because he betrayed us.
Yeah.
The GGs have been
I mean, for
all
what it's worth, we did kick him out just because he
Kaku Expo Stadium.
was not a girl, which is like,
99th Street.
low-key, we're kind of valid for that, but like,
Power supply to the stadium.
Yeah.
We might be the problem.
For the Kaku Expo. I got a
Unfortunate.
bad feeling this
We're heading into the best part of the game, or I make this joke every time. This is the point in the game where they ran out of budget, and you can really tell.
yeah. Yeah, that was a rough last 3 months of development. You mentioned the beta branch earlier. This is, chapter, what, 5? Chapter 5.
Is this chapter 6?
It's one of them.
Yeah, who cares? It's the boring
That's
one
one.
that no one remembers.
It's 5.
Um,
I know how to count.
okay, huge. This is Death Ball. Death Ball is a extreme sport to the death. It's in the name. Unfortunately not the really cool arcade game. I miss it so much.
The stuff ball.
This is Jazz, and she's our teammate for the next bit. You know what? At least it's a girl.
Yeah, she also got kind of thrown into this scheme here, and now we gotta make a do with what we have. So we're teaming up. We're gonna play in this silly little game, but not after we get 2 minutes of practice that we can't do anything about.
Mandatory 2 minutes of practice.
Mandatory 2 minutes. Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone get real familiar with Death Ball. We're gonna be seeing a lot of it.
Yep.
So true. Yeah, Death Ball is definitely the point in the run where it's like you get up, stretch a little bit.
It's a running
it's a
joke
moda.
that this is the perfect speed game because they gave you a built-in bathroom break right here.
Yes.
For the hour and 45-minute run, yeah. Do you want to go out of bounds and show us the tower?
Yeah, I could go show
Spoilers?
the ominous tower spoilers.
This isn't spoilers. This thing doesn't show up ever again.
Oh, right.
Oh, true.
Oh, right. I have to adjust my bit in real time.
Alright, so this is a surprise tool that's gonna help us in a few seconds. I
Help
don't
us?
know how long it's been.
Oh, the out of bounds. I thought you were talking about the tower still.
Not the
that's my
tower.
fault. the tower is a
So-
surprise tool that doesn't show up in the game again, like I said.
The specific jump off that ramp, we can just kind of clip out of the gate here, and we have a big ominous tower out here that's not going to be important at all. Listen to me, it won't be important. It's not going to pop up again.
You're never gonna see
But they
this
just
again,
kind of
don't
put it
worry
here for
about it.
fun.
I am glad that we have some Death Ball fans at least off to the left
Yeah.
here. Like, they're really pumped up for this.
Oh yeah.
They are for it.
These are
Alright, so notably don't want to hit yes again to Jazz. And hit yes to the noise tank. If you hit yes to Jazz there, you're going to get another 2 whole minutes of practice just in case you need it.
Everyone risked their lives.
You hit yes, unironically just boot up quick save, make a save, and then...
What's really funny about saying yes to Jazz is that is the only point in the run where you say no. Usually when a character gives you a yes or no prompt, what they're saying is, do you want to start this race? What Jazz is asking is, do you want to practice again? And if you say yes, you get 2 more minutes of Death Ball.
Yep, it's awesome. It's kind of a rite of passage that every runner has a run die to Death Ball by saying yes accidentally.
Yeah.
And now we're into the real thing, Death Ball, against the first team, the Doom Riders. We're gonna go through 3 teams, and yeah, it has the same strat 3 times, I don't know. But hey, it's at least kind of fast.
And now they've had the scores
There used to be
a lot faster
another
than what we had.
strat
Yeah.
here, which was relevant to the bit about the Immortals having the least health. Spoilers, we're gonna race the Immortals next. There used to be a strat that was used where you literally punched them to death just by bumping into them.
Yeah, it's interesting. We could talk about it more when we get to the Immortals, but here we're out of bounds and we're hitting a specific checkpoint in order to do what is effectively an ultra shortcut. After hitting that checkpoint, we can go out of bounds, and that spawns us at the default death point, which is at the start of the race. And then we just skate forward a little bit, grind on these rails, and then we're on to the next fight. Just that easy.
It is that simple.
And the Doom Riders are, I think, actually just taken over by the noise tanks afterwards. There's a post-game fight against the Doom Riders where you take them on in Doganzaka Hill, and they have these helmets on their heads, and they're real weird.
Something like that, yeah.
They're gone forever.
And
then the Immortals. So, Twink, you want to finish up the explanation of the kill strats?
Yeah, so there used to be this very fun strategy that doesn't get used anymore because it kind of sucked. But
Really sucked.
it really sucked to do, but it was cool in theory. And
It is
there's
cool.
nothing else to talk about because we're doing the same thing again. So, the Immortals have really low health, and you used to do this strat where you would do the same warp out of bounds to break their AI. They would not know how to, pathfind through the rest of the loop because you went out of bounds and they don't know where you are anymore. And then you stand there and you bump into the Immortals just over and over until they take enough collision damage to die.
Yeah, there are a few really interesting things. The AI, when you throw the ball, is specifically programmed to just run towards the ball, but because you threw the ball when you're out of bounds, it completely breaks and they just kind of stand still and let you hit them. And you might imagine Jet Set Radio Future is a very good game, right? So surely it has really good combat too. Surely bumping into them isn't the most inconsistent thing ever, and that's the only way you can deal damage to them in this fight. You can't even spray paint their backs in order to damage them. Those thoughts would all be wrong. You would be the most wrong you've ever been, maybe. Because it sucks.
Yeah. And then, after you have a really fun time doing that to the Immortals, you meet the Love Shockers, who have the exact same stats, so you do it again.
You do it again, really. The same stuff. So, yeah, take the ever so slightly different route here because we're gonna need some cans for something upcoming. I won't spoil, but
A fun secret.
I love secrets.
we are going to need this. So, just again, going out here.
And then we do the same thing for a third time, because I love Deathball.
We're almost out of here.
I promise it gets fun after this again. I'm sorry, Chad.
It gets really fun after this.
We tried our best, okay?
Please trust the process.
Yeah. The devs kind of intended for this to be like a fun kind of roller derby sort of thing, where you're passing the ball back and forth with your teammate, except your teammate is bad, and you don't have to throw the ball at all.
And slow.
Bad and slow, and you can just grab the ball and run in a circle, and it will count.
Hey, at least you can do this in multiplayer, and it's actually kind of good.
True. There is a little-known versus mode.
I wish I had online play.
So, once again, the police.
They're crashing the party, as per usual.
Many such cases.
I actually find this really funny.
We didn't even make the joke yet.
So funny.
Honestly.
So,
Someone was kind enough to let
Alright, and the Terror Drone's back.
Now's my
The
chance.
experimental weapon is still unfortunately very experimental.
You'd think over the course of a few chapters, well, I guess it's one chapter, they would be able to make it less experimental. Especially if it got destroyed by spray paint the first time. I don't get what they're doing, but you'll never guess what we're gonna do to it this time.
surely this time they've come up with some sort of anti-spray paint mechanics. It'll protect the turret from our spray paint.
Let's find out.
This time.
It does look kind of cute looking at it, you know?
We did not do that. This one has the slightly added challenge of you have to spray the bottom of it now. But
Yeah, or else it shoots
That's
big
pretty weak
evil
still.
lasers.
it does.
The big evil lasers.
Not the big evil lasers.
It's actually really easy to die in this fight casually because the big evil lasers do a lot of damage, and if you're not prepared for them, they will kill you very quickly. But
Yeah.
we're not
We're
worried
done.
about that.
Yay!
They're out of
things
the
your
ball.
parents and teachers are too afraid to.
Yay.
Jet Set Radio.
Just
Now
so
with
we-
after that, we're gonna see very shortly, but the noise tanks. Well, first off, everything's on fire now. We have completely full of the pan, and the noise tanks are just rioting in the streets. They're mad, and for what?
It's everywhere.
You mad.
These guys are really fun, and we're getting into honestly one of the best parts of the run now.
I believe we're due for a little wellness break.
Chad, I think we are due for a little wellness break after that riveting deathball gameplay. But we are going to take a quick wellness break now. So make sure you take this time to hydrate, to use the restroom, to stretch, get a little sweet treat, because you know I love me a little sweet treat. Go for a walk, do all that fun stuff, and we will be back soon with more JSRF. Welcome back to Hidden Heroes. Again, this is the Hotfix show where we showcase speedrunners who are part of underrepresented and marginalized communities in speedrunning and the games that they're passionate about. We are coming back hot into probably the best part of Jet Set Radio Future. This is an episode where we are celebrating femme runners and the games that they run with femme protagonists. So without further ado, I'm going to stop yapping. Vane, get back to it.
All right, we can get started again in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright,
Yay.
we're done with Deathball. I know you're all really disappointed.
Sorry.
But now we're into a different, interesting movement challenge sort of section of the game. This is called Noise Tank Cleanup. These are the noise tanks. They are everywhere. We need to get rid of them, so we're gonna run into them and make them explode.
Simple as.
Yeah, this is actually a really interesting part of the run because it really tests your movement between the quick turns and all of the rail grinding and the routing, and it's honestly really cool. The shuffles to preserve your speed between each one, you can shuffle into them and they'll still explode. It's great.
There's a soul we
that
unlocked at
soul.
the very beginning of the run. The surprise tool did indeed help us later.
Hope you remembered it. That's the last soul we're getting. That is the 20th fastest soul in the game.
For some reason.
Yep. If
Yeah.
it was any slower, it'd be cut out. So, you know.
So, souls that we unlocked earlier in the game are still here for us to pick up, so that's the most convenient point to pick it up.
Yep.
So we get to run back through a bunch of areas we saw earlier. We were in Dogenzaka Hill, now we're in Shibuya. We're gonna go into Chuo and Rokakuje Heights and 99th Street. Spoilers. Just running into these robots.
Yeah, it's great. Shout out to the origin point of this world, 00, being able to be locked in on right there whenever you center the camera for no discernible reason. Nice frame boost.
Every level has that, but it's really easy to hit it in Shibuya for some reason.
And
we're
into
also-
Chuo.
We get to see my favorite noise tank, which is this guy that's lying on the ground for some reason.
It's
You
floor
woke him
time
up.
for that guy. I'm
He was-
so sorry.
He was having floor time and you ruined
He's
it.
my favorite.
I'm so sorry.
There are a couple other noise tanks that are in like weird positions or locations, but that's the one that is the most obvious in the run. There's one
As-
in RDH that's like at the top of a chimney.
Yeah.
Do you
Shout out
guys
to
call him
Santa.
Santa Claus?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm glad we went there the
Santa
same way
tank.
with that. Yeah, the one flat on the ground is Nationist, lovely chatter pointed out, is called Plank Tank. It's great.
because we're
All
very
these
funny
noise
and
tanks
good at
are-
naming things.
I mean, it's true. You named a trick cucumber, for God's sake, you know,
Do you know why it's called cucumber?
because it's a weird pickle.
Yep.
Yup.
We'll see if we can explain this one at the end of the run after Zero Beat. This is a surprise bit that'll be funny later. Don't worry about it.
It'll be funny in 20 minutes if we made it. And so we're gonna keep running around. We need to hit like 200 of these guys, and they are scattered all over the map.
And fun fact, if we did actually do the sewers normally, which involves spraying a bunch of switches that are hidden around to like open up the gate to bottom point, those count in the game's code at like the same thing as noise tanks. So if we sprayed those switches, technically we would only have to get like slightly less noise tanks.
190. Yeah, for some reason the switches that you spray in sewers count as noise tanks because they didn't have space to track two different quantities of things, I guess.
I don't know. Smilebit was doing
They
some
were
funny
cooking.
business with this game.
I don't
They
know
were
if they were cooking.
I don't know if it was
didn't have
on
enough
purpose.
time. Yeah, we're gonna finish up noise tank cleanup here. Are we doing Jazz Race?
We are
we
doing
get
Jazz Race
Okay.
right after
So-
this.
You thought we were done with Death Ball. Just kidding.
Well, this time we can't do the out of bounds, so it's like a lamer death ball.
Yeah, this isn't even Death Ball. You don't get a ball, so there's that.
This is gonna be the last female character detour we take.
There is actual a point in the run where we will use Jazz later. Also.
Yes,
Yeah, this is important to keep the girls' night theme going.
exactly.
Someone in chat said this time it's Happy Ball.
Yay!
It's Happy Ball because at the end you unlock Jazz.
True.
True.
Oh, someone else says, "Oh, so it's just death."
All right. Yeah. So this race is really straightforward. We're just racing in the future. What is it? Future site of the Rokaku Expo Stadium. Yeah, I know the names of these locations. I'm a gamer.
This time you actually get to boost, which speeds this up a lot. In Death
Yeah, that's
Ball,
true.
if you're holding the ball, it takes the place of your can inventory, and so you can't boost. But no ball means we can boost health however much we want.
Yeah, that's great. So this time you get to see the fast stuff instead of the slow stuff, and also the outbound stuff.
You get to see
Really
what
giving you
the
everything.
inside of the track looks like.
A 56, very solid time.
Nice.
Alright, and we
And
are
then
out
Jazz for later.
on our merry way.
Now, so we have finished the noise tank cleanup, where we run around and blow them up, but we have one more thing to do with the noise tanks before...
How do you do that?
Hardest trick in the run.
Getting on the dragon tail. This joke will stop
Whoa.
being funny eventually, but it was yesterday, so I'm lingering on
True.
it.
Can't let it ride
You've got
for
a 24-hour window for it to still be funny. Alright,
Alright.
we get to go into another real crazy-looking area.
This is one of my favorite areas in the entire game, I can't lie. We have a... Ooh, the jump didn't come out. Robbed. It's okay, we just...
I'll
Ramp mode
just
up.
go here. Yep.
Yeah, you can run on that wall to hit a specific death plane to skip this, like, little run section, but it doesn't save that much time.
Yeah. And then we'll talk to big old Poison Jam here. He's really hurting because Noise Tanks beat him up, so we're gonna go take revenge, and now he's our friend. He's our buddy.
Yay!
Which means we get to go into the iconic Sky Dinosaurian Square.
This area is so cool.
It's a roller coaster park, and it's full of dinosaurs, and it's the coolest thing ever.
It simply is just the coolest.
And it's like all over like the void of a city, so my only guess is that you're like 50 stories up in the air. Is that not the coolest thing that's ever been made in a video game? I can't think
Also,
of
hi,
anything
Yo-Yo.
cooler.
Also, Yo-Yo's back, and he's with the Noise Tanks, because he betrayed us. But now Cube is back. We saw Cube really briefly earlier. And
she
it
was
wasn't
kinda
Yo-Yo
leading
at
Poison
all.
Jam.
Yeah. So Poison Jam's leader shows up, bumps into Yo-Yo. Turns out it's not Yo-Yo, it's fake Yo-Yo.
It's NT3000. That's his more accurate name.
No.
And so
Fake
now we-
yo-yo. What's
Fake
the funny
yo-yo.
joke I can make here that ties it together? I can't think of anything. Sorry, Chest.
He overheated with anger.
So now we do our last fight with the noise tanks on the roller coasters.
Yeah, this fight's really difficult if you aren't pretty careful with your movement. Because, one, Noise Tanks takes a lot of cans, I think it's 23, in order to spray them down all the way. So we need to make sure our canishment is good, and if we're not careful and we bump into the Noise Tanks too much, we can actually send them flying off of the roller coaster, and then they void out and go back to the start. But Vayne, very clean there, didn't have any major mistakes, so blazed on through, and now they all get destroyed by this guy with big old claws.
We'll see him at some point.
Very briefly.
Yeah. Yeah, that fight, there are all sorts of things that can go wrong. You can knock the noise tanks off into the void and then they respawn, but you can also knock them off into the collision around the rest of the map and they just get stuck.
Yeah. They'll just run in place forever.
They also can pick up cans, like they have their own can inventories, and so you can be on a rail about to pick up cans and one in front of you will just take all of them.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
evil.
But we're into the next chapter, I can't count, 7? Where we're going to face off against, or is this the FRZ chapter? This is the FRZ chapter, isn't it?
This is FRZ chapter.
I know any percent. FRZ is going to be the next level we go into, but we need to meet Clutch first, because he's going to tell us where Yo-Yo is being held. Noise Tanks at the end of the fight told us Yo-Yo's being held off in some secret location and you'll never find him, but we're gonna go figure that out. I think anyway.
Also get introduced to the group of golden rhinos here is kind of a step up from the cops. They have their two kind of head honchos there. We like to call them Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Claus
Don't
Guy
get
or
worried
Big
about it.
Jet if you also want to.
Those are their other names. They don't have like actual names, I don't think. So they just get called
Yeah,
them.
they're never named anywhere. This is also a really interesting point in the progression of the game, because this is where any percent is kind of more defined. You know, we've had a bunch of graffiti souls that we could pick up this entire game, but here is the chapter where the golden rhinos go in and start spraying their own graffiti, and we can go into a bunch of other levels. It's kind of like caution warning tape type graffiti, so nothing that cool. But we can go into all the levels we've visited in the past and start spraying over that graffiti. We're not going to do any of that in this run, unfortunately, but it kind of defines the 100% and 100% no post-game categories. It's really cool. Adds more graffiti reds in the game, which I like.
Yeah, dude.
So we're not going to pay attention to the guy that was on our screen.
Well, we have to a little bit, just because remember all those collectibles we got? This is why. This guy shows up once we have a set number of collectibles. He steals all of them, and then we have to chase him because he sucks.
Yeah, we have to get
Sorry,
him back.
Bossfell. This is
Sorry,
Clutch Hater,
Bossfell.
no couch today.
It's not Clutch's night tonight.
Yep.
But
But
we
yeah,
literally
he'll-
unlocked a character to avoid him.
he will go on a cycle moving between Kibogaoka Hill, Chuo Street, and the Skyscraper District.
Hey, look at this trick. See all of these cops?
No, you don't.
Gone.
Not anymore.
Magic.
So, this is kind of what we saw in 99th earlier. If you swap characters at one of these save points, it reloads a level, and the save point is in the immediate, like, cop fight for some reason, so you can reload and just get rid of the cops. Also, we
Yeah, the
found
trigger is also small enough, which is mighty convenient.
Yeah. Also, we interrogated Clutch and he gave us back our souls.
Yeah.
Yep. And we don't need them anymore anyway, so...
Doesn't matter.
Now
we
we
go
fortified
into-
residential zone.
The best area in the game.
So true.
Yeah. They planted some bombs. We gotta defuse the bombs with, you might have guessed it, spray paint. Very, very cool set of movement here. Just kind of shut up and let the game speak for itself a little bit here.
Yeah,
The,
bump in
the
some
title
concept
track.
of love. It's
got
a
the-
good
yeah.
time.
the main theme and some of the smoothest movement in the game. So good.
The blue device to stop it.
They also give you way too much time. You do not need this much time.
Oh yeah, also there's a timer now because they're trying to, add a little pressure, but they give you half an hour for a route that takes 1 minute.
And we'll jump on up to our last graffiti spot here. Our last bomb, I guess.
If you are hearing this tape, that means
Alright, so
you
that
have
is
somehow
only one set of devices. They've went and done it again. They've planted red devices this time, that we are just gonna do the same old song and dance. We're just gonna traverse through the area and take them out in a stylish manner.
No,
Yeah, this
the
area
evil
is great.
devices.
The evil devices, dude.
Here is a really hard jump called World Record Jump. It's because it killed a bunch of world records. Yep, that's it. Veins nails it like a boss. Easy.
There's a harder version of it called Universe Record Jump.
I didn't even know that.
I think I knew that and I forgot it, and now I'm reminded about it and I love it.
Also, once again, we have half an hour to do a route, but this time
Yeah,
we'll
they
take
refresh the timer.
2 minutes.
Ooh, it takes
as
one
a-
minute.
As a casual first-time player, this timer is a little intimidating. If you don't know exactly where you're going, this is a pretty big open area with lots of very scattered bombs and also lots of enemies that can throw you off. So, as a casual player, the 30-minute timer is a little intimidating, but it's not that bad.
I do also like that the Golden Rhinos act surprised that the bombs could be defused by spray paint, which, like, one, have you paid attention to the run at all? And two, they have a backup plan? I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. This game is wacky.
You know what, at least they're prepared. I respect a group that's prepared, but, like, come on. And that's the last bomb defused in the red devices. Very well done.
Let me go back up. This is another very vertical level, but unlike Hikage, there are actually ways to go from the bottom of the level to the top relatively quickly. So it is much less painful.
And we'll finish up the level with a big jump over to Yo-Yo, who is being held captive at the top of FRZ. That
Real
jump skips
Yo-Yo.
a bunch of mazes that are a little bit difficult to traverse, but that jump is really easy, frankly, so...
And now they're sending in fighter jets for fun.
The natural progression of, I don't know, violence.
Like police officers, tanks, and then fighter jets.
Yep. Well, you forgot the helicopters.
You forgot the helicopters and also
Sorry,
the weird, the robot spider. Also, Real Yo-Yo is back.
Yay!
He never betrayed us, he was kidnapped and held hostage. And we're into the next chapter, Chapter 8, which is where things go off the rails. I mean, it's been pretty wild. It's been pretty wild the past few chapters anyways. What with the rioting robots and the kidnapped boy. But this is Golden Rhinos have just been terrorizing the entirety of Tokyo Town, and we gotta go stop them.
It's time to get them out
Yep.
running.
Mm-mm-mm.
Hello?
Discord gone, Satch?
Am I back here? Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Vein internet explosion. Let's go.
Woo! I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was me too.
I thought my computer froze.
We all panicked.
Okay, are we okay?
I don't think we could, Chad. Oh no.
Chad, we
Our-
are having
our
some
hero has
technical
exploded.
difficulties.
The internet hates to see
Hello?
powerful women
Hello?
succeeding.
Hey.
Vane,
I think we're okay now.
can you hear us, Vane?
I can hear. I'm here now.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay.
We're all good.
Maybe sure, maybe.
We're good.
Huge.
You're so back.
Ladies'
We're back.
night is saved.
All right. My-
Keep going.
All right. Good to keep going. All right. So sorry about that, but
We're Jazz now.
we are Jazz.
Jazz, yeah.
Yeah.
Jazz, crucially, can hold 35 cans. The rest of the run is just going to be boss fights, and so having those 5 extra cans is going to be super helpful.
Yeah, and we're playing Jazz over the guy we met in Kibo that took all of our souls. Because, frankly, Jazz is better, even if it's slower.
That's true.
Yeah, I personally am a very big fan of the theory that both of them can hold 35 cans because their pants are so big.
What are you doing with those baggy jeans, huh?
What else could you possibly be doing? But anyways, into Churro Street, we're gonna be meeting one of the 2 head honchos here. I don't know, what I was saying,
Shark Boy.
Claw Guy,
Shark Boy or Claw Guy, or
etc.
I don't know if he has other names. He's got these
Golden
big
arms.
golden arms.
And a big cigar. We're coming up with new ones on the spot.
So normally the way this fight works is that he shoots his robot arms out, and you can grind on his arms and knock him down and spray him. We're not doing any of that. We're just gonna kill him before he even has a chance.
Take
Except
him
we
out of
didn't.
the
We're not gonna kill him. These guys are.
He has
Yeah.
failed his mission, and so instead he's gonna get
Take him
blown
out.
up.
And then explode him. Bye bye.
Bye bye. You're done.
Forever.
All right, and then we get this
And,
really cool cutscene. Pay attention.
Who's
We've
this
got
guy?
this cool guy.
This cool guy.
Nice
there he
trick
goes.
jump off a flat ground. Are they speed hacking this? Like, how do you get a trick jump there?
No, these little cutscenes
These are
are
all
like
slow.
in-engine movement.
Yeah.
Oh, he went on the
Alright.
slope. I didn't even see the slope.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I wasn't paying attention enough. Can we replay it?
From the back.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can run it back from the top.
Right. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, Tech, get ready. I'm resetting the timer. All right. I mean, I'm down for another hour and 45, but I also want to watch Octopath. Come on.
We
Roger.
can't do this to Sanjan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Claw Guy, so now we have to run to the other side of the map to get the other mystery boss.
All the way back over to Highway 0.
This is the second time Highway 0 is going to be visible in the run. Unfortunately, it is the same exact area that we fought the Immortals in. Isn't that wonderful?
We just have a couple of these golden rhino fights on our way over to Highway 0. So, Anarchy, if you have any messages you want to plug, I know it's been kind of a contested airwave here, but if you have anything you want to shout out, go ahead. It'll be a good time.
Just a little bit. Is anybody else going $10 mode? Because I certainly am. Just so you all know. Just so you all know, your subs, your Prime Gaming subs, your gift subs, bitch, all of that cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel helps support Games Done Quick Hotfix. So if you enjoy watching speedruns, you're enjoying this JSRF run, because I certainly am, I'm having a great time, please consider subscribing to the channel and get access to our emotes, have ad-free viewing, and chat with other subscribers during our replays. And it costs less than that. You can do that for $5 mode. If you really want to.
$5 mode. We're
I
really
can
all
go
over
$5
now.
mode.
I have an
go
important
$5
question,
mode.
Anarchy. We were talking some
of course.
about how you knew nothing about this game before the run. Do you understand what's happening now, or has the lore not made any sense?
Shapes and colors.
Perfect. That's exactly what it is for us.
You got it.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
We found the other boss, and she has a flamethrower also. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to set Highway 0 on fire. Also, all of these buildings are concrete, so, you don't...
That's concrete, baby.
Damn right. This boss is really easy. We just knock her over twice, and then she, well, you know what, I'll let you see what happens to her.
She meets an equally unfortunate death. She sets herself on fire and then gets flattened by a billboard.
Unlucky, really.
Honestly, I hate when that happens to me. On Girls' Night, like, come on.
Come on.
There's and then we're out.
I have to shout out my favorite texture mod for this game, which puts an anvil on the billboard that crushes her.
It's really funny.
It's really good.
And then you hear DJK panicking. He's being kidnapped, just like Yo-Yo. Oh my god, icon. And he's being taken off to somewhere. I guess we gotta find him.
They're just taking his whole studio, like his whole everything.
They were so considerate to take his whole radio booth so he can keep broadcasting.
Yeah, honestly.
That was real considerate of them. Also, why is his radio booth shaped in a way where you can just pick it up with a helicopter? Is there?
Yeah, it has a little hook. It's like a keychain flying on the helicopter. It's like, okay, also, relax.
Yeah. Also, this cool guy's back.
Yeah, this cool guy's back, and there he goes.
We're gonna have an equally interesting machine to look at as this guy in about 15 seconds.
So we are heading over to a new area, going the other way on this railroad track.
I'm gonna not say what this contraption we're about to see is. Chat, place your bets. What is this that we're about to see right now?
Yeah.
Place your bets or explain it to us, because we're all confused, frankly.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Pitch us your theories.
That's a studio, by the way. We meant this thing.
What's this? What is this? What are we looking at?
Shut that damn thing off!
Yeah, that damn thing is pretty accurate, honestly.
What?
Like, throw it back, DJK.
We are going to
shut that. It got shoes on
down.
and everything.
What the deuce? What is that?
Would you wear this? I think you could run this up and it'd be kind of fire, low-key.
It's kind of
the
tough.
boots, maybe, like the little shoes. Yeah, it's
someone make these.
Also, now the contraption is going $10 mode.
The contraption is going $10 mode.
And you can go $5 mode if
you in chat can go $5 mode with your subscription.
I promise you'll be way cooler than this weird contraption that we're looking at. Because this train, it's a train.
Just because it's on rails, that's all we have for it. That's a very particular fight, specifically being able to control yourself and control your speed, switching between rails, is a very difficult skill you kind of have to pick up for that fight. Also, another strat for it called Desperado Train, or just Desperado, that will allow us to get more cans coming out of that fight, which is going to be important for this next part. I'm sorry to everyone, we lied, this tower is actually super important.
It's back.
It is back.
Also, that cool guy is back too. Took over.
I thought we saved DJK's studio. What happened with that?
We saved it and then that guy got in.
Right, okay.
So,
yeah.
DJ Goji Rokaku is using this big evil tower to, I don't know, do something. It's making Shibuya Terminal dark. It's gonna suck out the souls of the people in the streets.
This is a weather machine, I get it. I see the vision.
He's got his helicopters, he's got his big, scary tower. We really don't know, man. We're trying our best to explain what's happening, but come on. We have lost the plot, low-key.
We've lost it. I think they lost it when developing the game. I think Goji's lost it. I think
the plot is gone.
Yeah, a little bit. But we have to take on the tower. We can't just let him vacuum up all of the residents of Shibuya Terminal for his dark evil plan or whatever. He's gonna speech at us a little bit, classic villain stuff. But we're going into.
I did not order a Yappuccino.
Right, put the fries in the bag. we're gonna fight that cool little creature walking around that we saw a bunch in the last chapter. This is the final chapter of the game, so we're coming up on our last 2 boss fights and then we're done. So first we have Zero Beat. Zero Beat is Goji's son. He says it, not me. And we have to go spray him just like any other's taggers tag.
Yeah, so the reason I mentioned cans earlier, in regards with going into this fight, is because there are multiple different strategies for this fight, depending on how many cans you enter with. There is just a very general, like, decently easy strat that works for, as long as you're going into this fight with at least 4 cans, you can make it work. I am fortunate enough to have more than 4 cans, but I'm still just gonna go with this normal strat, but there is a myriad of different ways you can kill Zero Beat slightly faster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You also
this
can
fight is
end-
really cool.
This is a cool fight. You can also end that dialogue like slightly early for some reason. You can just enter the fight like slightly earlier than it indicates that you can.
It's very strange. But
You're
going
just gonna
to chase him
these
around
robots.
and then drop off onto the bus platform here, boost over to what we call a charity rail because it has a nice 25 cans there for us. And then catch Zero Beat on the way back and hopefully spray him down here. He's gonna do a boost if we're not fast enough, but nice.
Nice.
Alright.
Very clean.
Very well done.
Alright.
And we've
So-
saved the day almost, kind of. We have one more enemy to take out, and that's Goji himself. But he has to, DJK has to hero speech to us. This
Yes,
is
the
new. I'm
monologue.
scared.
So based on all of these weird contraptions we've seen, what do we think the final boss is going to be? What sort of messed up steampunk contraption?
The name.
Oh, also, you can clip through this wall, and it's called Pickle,
Yeah.
and that's where Cucumber comes from. When you clip through
See
a
if we
wall,
can
it's
hit it.
called a Pickle.
Barely ever works. I think I've gotten this once, maybe ever.
Unlucky. Also, legitimate motion sickness warning for this final fight. The arena is a mess.
Yeah, no,
so
it's-
look away until the end of the run. We'll call it out.
Alright. In we go.
Alright, this
And-
is the final boss. It looks like a psychedelic nightmare.
Yep. And we gotta take care of it, I guess. Put an end to it. And we're gonna do that through our good friend Goji here, who is going to turn into the final villain of the game, Akumu. And no, we can't explain what this is either.
It's his
gone.
magical girl transformation.
I don't know.
I guess, you know what? We have an explanation for it, chat. We found it.
The Chaos Emeralds, maybe? I don't know.
Something like
right.
that.
So all we have to do for this fight, really revolutionary stuff, is climb up this platforming challenge and then boost into him. But we have to boost into him twice. So what we're going to do is boost into him once and then fall down in order to hit him again. Restock
Yeah,
on
it's-
cans.
It's the final boss, so you have to boost into him twice. There are also all of
Really
these
hard.
like ninjas down at the bottom who can grab onto you, but they're not even going to be a problem because we just walked right by them.
Doing great.
The platforming is the actual hard part of the final boss here, but we have our route.
We're
so it's not
speedrunners.
even that bad.
Yeah,
And
and
one
we'll boost
last
into it
boost.
one more. And spray him down. Time will be whenever the screen flashes black.
Whenever this health bar is empty.
And time.
Time.
GG's.
Well played.
Alright, couple of unexpected mistakes in there, but it is what it is. So, I've been Vin. That was the full game of Jet Set Radio Future.
With some friends.
With some friends.
With some
I try to
really
stream this
fun-
game over twitch.tv/Vane_SR. You can also find me on Blue Sky at VaneSR BSky Social. And if you want to get into speedrunning this game, the Discord has a lot of good resources, a lot of people willing to help, and we also have, as I was talking about yesterday, our bingo season coming up. If that all interests you, please get involved. It would be great. That'll be it for me.
desires crumble. As the
You guys have your
tower was
shoutouts?
once again nothing more than
You wanna go first?
steel and glass.
Sure. I am Twinkachu on Twitch and Blue Sky, but I don't actually do all that much there. The main thing that I want to promote is also JSRF Bingo. It is a tournament doing this, but more chaotic and silly, and
And the more people are
you should
pushed,
check it
the
out.
stronger
It is
that unit
JSRF Bingo on Twitch and
But in
YouTube.
the end, he was
And we have a new season starting soon.
Very soon. Me and Vane will be teammates for that season. It's going to be a blast. If you want to get a quick taste of some JSRF Bingo, me and Vane yesterday did a 1v1 as part of the Trans Day of Visibility celebration this weekend, and it was wild, let me tell you that. It was a really good time and really close 1v1, so go watch that on GDQ's YouTube. Otherwise, you can find me everywhere at Shovelclaws, mostly on Blue Sky and Twitch and YouTube. I upload a bunch of silly variety stuff. We'll see what I do next. I don't know. I really like platformers and stuff and indie games, and yeah, that's what I get up to. It's a weird grab bag of cool indie stuff. But we've saved the future of Tokyo Toe, gotten rid of the Golden Rhinos, and we have our credits dance party, of course. That's gonna
With
be
all
it
of
for
the
JSRF.
cool extra female characters we unlocked. Look at that.
True.
I like the girls' night %, but thank you all so much, Vane and company, for that amazing run of JSRF. I was enraptured, shapes and colors. But we are gonna be back. We're gonna take a little bit of a break, another little wellness break. Make sure you hydrate, stretch, restroom break, get a sweet treat, and all that. And we'll be back with more Hidden Heroes. Coming up, we've got Octopath Traveler, so make sure you stick around for that. Everybody, and welcome back to Hidden Heroes. We're in the back half of our episode tonight. My name is Anarchy, and this is the Hotfix show where we aim to showcase speedrunners who are part of marginalized and underrepresented communities in speedrunning and the games that they're passionate about. And tonight, since it is March 31st and the end of Women's History Month and also Trans Day of Visibility, I wanted to celebrate some of the femme runners in the community and the games that they run with femme protagonists. So before we get on with our last run of the night, do want to do a couple quick announcements. Make sure you join the official GDQ Discord and add the Hotfix role, which is called Hotfix Enjoyers, which is awesome, where you can keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff, and more. Use !Discord in the Twitch chat for more information. And also, make sure you go to gamesdonquick.com/hotfix to check out this season's lineup of all the shows. We've got 2 brand new shows, which are going to be having their second episodes this week on Wednesday. So make sure you go on the site to check that out, and also check out the schedule for an in-depth look at this week's runs. But without further ado, we've got another goat coming up for us tonight. We've got Sanjan with Octopath Traveler. Make sure you take it away.
Hello, gamers. I'm Sanjan. I'll be running Octopath Traveler, the first for you all. So, just to introduce really quickly about Octopath Traveler, it is a 2D HD game. So, it's a 2D game, but with prettier graphics. And so, because it is Women's History Month, we are doing Ophelia single story. So, before I get into it, the single story is just basically doing Ophelia's chapter 1 through 4. This run is incredibly accessible, and I'm doing a slightly more advanced version of this route, but for excitement. But this run is probably the most perfect beginner run for everyone to follow, and there's a lot of good music, and it's a lot of JRPG goodness. So, without further ado. So I'm going to count us down here to start our adventure as Ophelia. So, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
So we're pretty much going to press hold B to skip all cutscenes. So, a lot of the fun in Octopath is it's very fun turn-based classic JRPG vibes. And with a decent amount of quality of life. So you get a lot of good old cutscene skipping here, and there's going to be a lot of tutorials over here that we are just going to skip over because we mostly know how to play the game. So, to introduce you real quick about Ophelia, she's the priest of this group. This game has a very nice job-based system. So think classic games like Final Fantasy 3. And Final Fantasy 4, which have a very nice drop system. So story-wise, the too long didn't watch or didn't read part of this is that our job is to light all the flames, because we are basically on a journey, trademark. But Chad, I want you to gaze in the good soundtrack, because this game has a really, really good soundtrack. And I would say this is probably one of my most favorite town music soundtracks ever. So after all these cutscenes, we are gonna go pretty much on our first journey here. We're going to use Ophelia's special thing called Path Action here. So her Path Action is Guide, which lets you guide an NPC. And the short of it is that there are Rogue and Noble Path Actions. Ophelia's Path Action is Noble, and Noble Path Actions are based on level. So we've grabbed this random tavern patron because he has a very useful ability called Summon Winds, which helps a lot. So to introduce you, so this is just a very classic JRPG break system here. So you'll notice that there's kind of a listing of weaknesses here. So this monster happens to be weak to staff. And you notice here, when the shields go down to 0, you break the enemy. So this has a couple benefits. One is that they take 1.3 times more damage. The second is that you have an 100% escape rate. So it is faster to get the first turn escape by about 2 seconds, but just for safety, I will just be breaking them because it's easy. You can also use a spell to break them, which in this case, Ophelia has the light element, but spells are pretty slow in this game, so I will generally try and avoid it. You also saw that I bought a quartz rod to equip to her here, and that's just to deal more damage, because we are going to be hitting our first boss very soon here. And by the way, we won't be doing very much grinding in a speedrun. So we're going to be facing the higher level bosses at really low levels. Also, this is a Guardian of the First Flame. It's more funnier with humans, but they are very big to tell you that it is very obviously a boss. So our fellow Summon Winds guy is starting off very strong here. I want him to press Summon Winds a lot, so we are doing good. So a lot of this is just making sure that we're topped off HP-wise, and making sure that our summon is out. So every few attacks or so, the summon will disappear, and we have to resummon them. So at a certain half HP, this little ad comes out. So we just have to keep in mind it, because it does. This ad pretty much goes kerplow and deals a lot of damage. So I do have to keep that in mind. But hopefully, if Summon Winds guy going in, I don't have to worry about the unfriendly neighborhood elemental here. So this should be good. And we're already done with the first chapter. Nice, that's a really good drop. So that Shadow Soulstone is a 10% drop. I'll talk more about stones in a little bit, but they are rocks. They are elemental rocks that you can throw at mobs, and they deal a set amount of damage. And so they come in 3 varieties. They come in small, medium, and large, and the medium and large deal a lot of damage. So a really nice thing also about this game is that after you complete your first character's chapter 1, the world is pretty much all yours to explore. So it opens the route a lot in terms of routing, but in general, the general objective of a single story is get evasive maneuvers, either by getting Cyrus or going through the Scholar Shrine, and B, getting a lot of money, because spoilers, this game is a pay-to-win game. Not in the way you're thinking. This is an in-game pay-to-win. So ignore the fact for now that we are going to see kitties in this area. I'll be saving them for later. There's also a special route you can do, which skips one of the characters that we usually get here, Cyrus, but it is a very cursed route, and if I don't talk about it, it can't hurt me. So we're just gonna do the standard route here, and the standard route is very easy for all the new folks here to digest. So we're gonna grab our. So there's 8. So there's 8 characters here because it's Octopath. And you can pretty much go out and recruit one of them, but we are going to grab our friendly neighborhood scholar here, Cyrus, because Cyrus is a very useful character and he learns evasive maneuvers. That Froggo is not very nice to me. So unlike in Octopath 2, we do have to do each of the characters' stories here. Or chapter 1's here, so. I'm just gonna recruit him, and we're gonna, because we need a bit more firepower, we're gonna go buy an extra few items after grabbing Cyrus. So I'm just gonna scrutinize the Scar, because I'm gonna get Soul Stone off from him. Yeah, so again, these small soul stones, unbroken, do about 200 damage if they're against weak, or if you throw an element that they're weak to, they deal 260, and when broken, they deal 400, which is a lot of damage at this level and point in the game, because we're not going to be making our characters very powerful in terms of gear and money, or in terms of gear. So I'm pretty much quickly going through this area. So there's gonna be about 1 encounter we face through here. 2 were unlucky. So I guess I'll talk quickly about the step counter system. So encounters here work on a step counter system. So it rolls a number between 500 and 1500, somewhere around there, and when it reaches 0, you get an encounter. So basically we want evasive maneuvers because it makes that number go down much slower. And that's going to allow us to explore really high level areas without any issues. So one thing to note is the more characters you have in your party, up to 4, the tougher these bosses are. So Russell's going to be a bit tougher than the Guardian of the first flame that we faced. Also, yeah, big human to tell us this is a boss. So normally, as well, like there's another soul stone, small soul stone you can get, but because I got the Shadow Soul Stone drop, I chose to skip that. Ooh, I don't like this. But it's fine because I can just heal at Ophi. So, was hoping for another summon wins from him, but that's okay. So I basically want to get these ads out of the way ASAP. I'm just gonna throw a small Shadow Stone to take care of them, and pretty much from here, we're just gonna be whacking Russell to death here. Just trying to break him and then just use a boosted attack. So, I forgot to explain the boost system in this game. I know I'm very much info dumping on everyone. There's just a lot to explain in the first few bits. So the break and boost system, so the BP system, you see like those little numbers next to under Ophelia and Cyrus's name. So they represent like the power and amount of attacks you can do. So the more BP you have, either the more attacks you can do or the more power that comes into a hit. So for example, if I fully boost the Holy Light, I do like 600 damage instead of like 200. And you'll see why smartly managing your break and boost is very important here. So, pretty smooth Russell fight here. Nobody died, which is the point.
That's always good.
Shoutouts to Summon Wins guy. Alright, so generally after we get Cyrus, you generally have to grind a total of 130 job points, which is a system that helps you learn more skills, and you get it as well as your general EXP system after a battle. And we need a total of 130 job points in order to get evasive maneuvers, which is the first support skill that you can learn. So again, evasive maneuvers allows you to pretty much double your running distance before you get an encounter, which is basically what we need to traverse very high level areas without having to face level 45 monsters. It's not a great place. So normally you would have to grind in Whistlewood, but we do have a sanctioned speedrunner mod called the Cape mod, and what this mod does is that it gives us a cute little kitty. So kitty enjoyers, look away. It's okay, you can come back now. It's a necessary sacrifice. So I'm gonna learn Luminescence and Reflective Veil. That's gonna be very useful for later, and then Blizzard and Lightning Blast. So the reason why a kitty is very useful because when you kill it, it's a very annoying thing to kill, but when you kill it, it gives you around 160 job points, and a good amount of money and a good amount of XP. And that allows you to really quickly learn evasive maneuvers. So it generally allows you, for many other characters, to do special routes that, for example, can skip Cyrus. I chose not to do it for Ophelia because, again, the Kate route for Ophelia is cursed and it can't hurt me if I don't talk about it. And it also is just a nice, convenient tool for those who don't make much use of the Kate, like Ophelia. So the reason why it's allowed, because otherwise the Kate, the little cute kitty cats are a 3% encounter, and if we depended on one, we would be running in circles for about like 20 minutes, and nobody has time for that. So it's the type of thing that helps make a lot of the routes a lot more accessible to folks, and it is a separate category on the leaderboards for those of you who are very interested. So yeah, 3% can't hurt me. But yeah, so basically to recap, I went to like a very high level area called the Forest of Purgation, and I went to grab a bunch of money and stones. So the money's gonna help a lot later because I talked about pay to win, but the soul stones will be very useful because the medium and large soul stones will help take care of this next boss for this character we're gonna recruit. Everyone's favorite, except for mine's character, and kind of the star of the show, Tressa. So Tressa is our merchant here, and merchants have a lot of very useful kind of support skills, as well as our main source of damage dealing, which in this case is our best friend Hired Help, and you'll learn later on why it is a pay-to-win game, so to speak. But another fun quirk of Tressa is that she has the kind of passive ability called Eyes for Leaves, in that she basically grabs money from dead bodies. That's my headcanon version of it.
Right, okay, right.
So she finds money in funny ways. So you can have a max of 4 characters, but the really cool thing that I will also explain is that we will only be grabbing a total of 3 characters in this speedrun. We don't need 4. We only need 3 gamers to save the world. Or Ophi's world, rather. So a little bit of the history on the routes. Pretty much all characters were done with pretty much all single story routes were done with 4 characters because that's what any of us believed was the fastest. But there was a runner named Lost Core who was inspired by someone doing a solo run to try to take out a character. And I believe that was for Therion. And after the discovery, after the discovery, there was like a huge explosion in popularity and trying to route out 4th character out, and Ophi was one of the lucky ones who got the 4th character routed out. Funny enough, the story of that was Mamgar, another runner, had done a route without Tressa, a 3-character route without Tressa, and because around that time there was also a tourney, like a Ophelia single story tournament that went on, and that also inspired like a ton of routing from other folks. But as a joke, I started researching into a route where like we didn't use any form of, we just basically threw a lot of money at bosses and they would fall over. And I used 3 characters, and then people pretty much optimized it from there. So having 3 characters is a lot more convenient, especially because you have less turn economy. And less characters to pretty much have to worry about. Because generally, if you recruit characters, you need to use soul stones for them, and etc. So that's the long story short of many of the routing changes that came into Octopath. So, when I mentioned Ophi was a very accessible single story for people new to the game, it is extremely accessible, so there is an even friendlier route than this that involves getting the Thief Shrine, and it makes... Because normally, in this speedrun, we don't recruit the Thief, Therion, who's normally recruited in a lot of other speedruns because he has an ability called Armor Corrosive, which makes enemies take 1.5 times more physical damage, and most of our damage will be physical damage. But instead, since Ophelia is just generally very far away from Therion's character, or Therion's area, and we don't need him, we basically take advantage of Ophelia being able to summon NPCs to help her out by just grabbing an NPC that happens to know the equivalent ability of Armor Corrosive. So you'll see me here walking through like a lot of really high level areas for a good time, or for a good long time, because of evasive maneuvers, and you'll also notice that I did the save and load. So what the save and load does is that it resets the step counter back to whichever number. So if I were just to walk through here without saving and quitting, aka reloading my steps, I would get an encounter here and I would probably die because I'm really underleveled and I don't have any weapons or armor or gear to help me out with that. But yeah, you also see me getting the shrine as well. I grabbed the warrior shrine last time, and then now I'm grabbing here the merchant shrine. So grabbing these shrines allows me to equip jobs to different characters. So for example, I can make Ophelia a merchant, I can make Cyrus a warrior, etc, etc. So it's really nice to pretty much give a good variety to your character builds. So a lot of these single story speedruns, as I mentioned, is about being able to grab your characters that you need fast, and then you have pretty much just like a long exploration session. A kind of longish exploration session where you're trying to grab all the money that you can. And all the resources that you can to beat the certain bosses, and that's pretty much a good summary of it. So I'm also tagging a bunch of towns because it's where... Rude. So it's where Ophelia's chapter 2, 3, and 4 is going to be or Ophelia's chapter 3 is in Gold Shore. Going through this area is generally also inherently risky because it's a pretty long, winded area, and you get encounters, and I get an encounter in the Grand Port area every single day of my life. And those RPG jerkbirds, just like to show off. So hopefully I won't be seeing them. I did a practice run like about 2 hours ago, and it took me longer than I should have to get through this area. But yeah, you'll notice I went back and forth here. That also resets the step counter because I wanted to grab those soul stones. You technically don't need it, but I'm also intentionally playing safe to show you all just how easily accessible this game is as a speedrun. So again, here I'm saving and quitting to reload my steps. And then hopefully I am a gamer and I can get this thing called swag skip. No, this is so
Swag
sad.
skip?
Yeah, it's swag skip. Swag skip is when you can jump those bushes. I didn't get it, so that means I got into Grand Port, of course. We don't believe it does way too much, but you'll notice
Okay,
that
you're
like
still
I
a gamer
take
to me.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you. Heart emoji. So the most important thing about navigating through these areas is running correctly. So you'll notice like I take very tight turns, and that's pretty much just to like get to where I need to go in the least amount of steps. So yeah, that's a very scary area done, and I am a happy camper, and I can get out of Grand Port hell, as I like to say. And then now we're pretty much on our way to starting chapter 2.
Hooray!
What do you think of the soundtrack so far, Anarchy? Have you played this game?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a very big, most RPGs I play are like American RPGs, but I'm rocking with it. This has a good soundtrack. And just generally, this game is really pretty. This is a pretty game.
Yeah, I love the graphics on this game. I'm too lazy, so goodbye, encounter. So escapes are generally variable. They kind of depend on your level. The higher level you are, the more successful you tend to be. If you're very high level, fleas are pretty much guaranteed. But if you're like under leveled in a very high level area, then you tend to fail those escapes. And that's why when you get an encounter in a high level area and you're like level 10, you're pretty much generally just going to fall over. But yeah, now that we have pretty much all we need to start out our journey of lighting all the flames, we are pretty much gaming, I should say. We are still gonna grab some stuff on the way, but that's mainly because a lot of what goes into routing is just generally getting items and such on the way. And so that's why single stories tend to be very fast, and that's also why, like, historically when you route, having 3 characters is generally ideal, just because it makes handling resources much easier. There are some characters, like Primrose, that cannot easily get away with using only 3 characters. You can, technically, with Primrose. There's a route that someone made, but it's definitely not as fast, just because, for example, Primrose just requires so many resources. But thankfully, spoiler alert, a lot of Ophelia's bosses are not too terrible, so that's why having 3 characters is just perfectly fine. But the really also nice thing about doing Ophelia's single story is that you have a lot of resources available to you, like, especially if you mess up. Or, like, if you don't have money, because there's a lot of places to get money. So we do have a scary scrutinize coming up. I didn't explain what scrutinize is, but it's basically Cyrus interrogating people, and it is a rogue action, so he has a chance of just being very rude, trademark about it. And if you do that, you pretty much get docked points, and if you fail too many times, then you lose your reputation and you can't do any path actions anymore. So we do have to scrutinize this guy, which is a 30% chance, because you want to be able to buy a certain item in a shop. First, try gaming.
Nice.
And again, game's easy when you hit the game of chance. But anyhow, even if you fail that 5 times and you lose your reputation, it's not a big deal, just because this route has a lot of safety built into it, so you can get a lot of extra money. So when I mentioned we're not doing much grinding, we really are not doing much grinding. We just happen to be grinding mobs on the way, just because a lot of these areas are really long, and we do have to tank hits on the 3rd chapter boss. So I didn't get the encounter. So that last area before hitting Saints Bridge, you could get an encounter there, but I didn't get that encounter there, so I will intentionally take this encounter here. If I had gone that last encounter, I would try to go for a save and quit there. Blurg. Sad. So because it's a high level area, we can get caught by surprise. Hopefully I get a good turn order.
What is that?
That's a salamander. They're very cute.
I'm a little scared. I'll be honest with you, I'm scared. Whoa.
I actually don't know if I can win this, because this is
Oh.
because this is kind of scary. Come on, please leave someone alone. Okay, you can do that. So I do have to get some extra hits in. Okay. Winnable.
Hooray.
Yeah, so yeah, we are in a high level area, so I do expect ambushes, but you can generally work around it as long as they target the right people. So mostly smooth sailing, hopefully, knock on wood, we don't get ambushed here. A lot of like optimizing Octopath, and I guess RPGs, some RPGs in general, depending on what you play, is not getting destroyed by RNG. Nice. I spoke too soon.
How will you know I knocked on wood for you? This wood must be fake on my desk here.
Wait, there is a tree in here. This is Mirkwood Forest. Wait, am I actually gonna survive this? I can't believe it.
Not bad. A pass.
Thanks, Cyrus. I passed. So I'm gonna learn a couple abilities here. Hired help. So I'm learning hired help to everyone or hired help to get everyone here endless items here, and I gave Cyrus the warrior because there's some utilities in there, or because it has sword and spear. And I hope you all enjoy the power of hired help, because you'll learn why it's overpowered. But first off, big doggo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that is a really big dog.
Yeah, so the story is that this doggo is in the way, and because Ulfi has to rescue a little kid, and this big doggo's standing in the way. Nice EI proc. So endless items has a 25% chance of proccing and saves the item, which is really nice. Thank you. That one's for you, Tressa fans. Bye, doggo.
I am not made for such battles.
Welcome to Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. So what hired help does is basically it's pay to win. So I just paid 30,000 leaves to deal what, like 20k damage to a doggo, and
That's a lot of damage.
this wasn't even with armor corrosive or the defense down stuff that I had mentioned earlier. So we don't even need that for big doggo, just because we deal with that by just chucking a bunch of large stones at the doggo and then calling it a day. But yeah, here I'm doing a very slight detour to grab the unerring bracelet, just for more accuracy on the next boss, and then I am buying a couple things. So Tressa also has a very useful path action that lets her buy items from people, and you can just with the power of money and capitalism, yeah, I know, capitalism, you can buy a lot of really overpowered items. So I bought pomegranates there and a healing grape bunch, just mostly as utility for later. But yeah, this area has just a lot of money laying around. So here, we've already started Ophelia's Chapter 3, so pretty much from here, it's pretty much just rush through the story. And beat the bosses as fast as you can. So I talked to the dude here, and this is, we're turning in the quest here called the Safe Route to give us a surprise, even more money.
I feel like Mr. Krabs right now. I like money.
Yeah, if you like money, and you like burning a lot of money to see stuff fall over, play Octopath Traveler. Yeah, so story-wise here, we're lighting more flames, and I mean that's basically kind of it for Ophelia's story. Though I will intentionally take some time here, because the reason why I also like doing Ophi's story is that her final boss is the only sort of like boss where we get voice acting, and I will intentionally play the whole thing because I love content. So I'm gonna grab this here because it's a HP boosting item. But yeah, so you can't technically walk all the way back, but I hate walking too much. It's more efficient to just warp to another town here. And we had to do stuff here anyway, so I gotta buy 5 empowering bracelets and then equip them all. And then we're gonna hire our best friend forever, if he does the right thing, Mr. Warrior. So the Warrior Word is very useful because he has a special ability inhibit defenses, which basically applies armor corrosive to everything out there. And while I can work around it for this boss, I'm hoping Mr. Warrior stops worrying about the river and presses inhibit, because it would make me really happy. Do this. Yeah, so you'll see now we have much higher HP because we have to intentionally take a hit here, and my movement is not so good, so maybe we'll see an encounter here, but hopefully, nice, okay. Very smooth.
My wood worked that time.
This time for sure. Yeah, so here it's another long winded dungeon. So we're gonna do a save and quit here. Ah. So there still is a chance we can get an encounter here, just because it's another very long winded path here, but it's a bit rare, and I will save before the boss because there's a chance I may fail it. So hopefully not, but in an RPG, always better safe than sorry. Sad. Alright, so I do know how to deal with this. So a lot of good skills that you can kind of learn is how to deal with encounters in general. If you know weaknesses here generally, you're generally going to be in very good shape on average. So, thankfully, they gave me a good encounter that is easy to break, and once they're all broken, fleeing is 100% free. But yeah, the speedrun in general is just like a very easy to learn, hard to master, just because I've been playing this game for a very long time, so I just generally know all the little tips and tricks of getting through this without losing my sanity. Because encounters, you know, just another day in a RPG. It's congratulations. We still have more chances, and it's not over.
I was gonna say, people who run RPG games are like a different breed, because I don't think I could ever do this.
That is... Alright, Mr. Worrywart, I would like to save some soul stones, please. Yeah, I would say I'm primarily an RPG runner, and... But that's just because, like... I think the same of platformer runners in action. There we go, thank you. So I believe this should kill. If not, it's not a big deal. But yeah, as you see here as well, because we have inhibit defenses, hired help is dealing almost 7k damage. It should almost be a death. If not, I'll just chuck another stone. Yeah, so I had to use an extra stone there mainly because we got the inhibit really late. Not a big deal though. So I'm actually gonna... I think she has a wind M. I don't need to do this, but I remember there's someone here that has one. I'll just throw 2 L stones. It's not a big deal. Yeah, so a lot of what goes into mastering single stories, and especially Ophies, is just understanding damage in general. Which I think very much a big thing of skill and expression in RPGs is just general game knowledge and just working around, like, especially in turn-based games, just working around the weird scenarios or just like RNG in general. But of course, that very much varies depending on the game. So I'm gonna do a couple minis here. So Cyrus is now our merchant, and Ophi becomes our warrior here. And I'm gonna give them cover. So you don't need to do this, but I'm just gonna do this for extra insurance. This lady, who's a 36% chance, has a soul stone that I will want to grab here. So technically, if you want to do this fastest, you can skip a lot of stuff that I'm doing in the speedrun as well. So for example, you can skip the unerring bracelet that increases accuracy, which is what I bought earlier to pretty much have more money to do everything. Heal here. Or you can just pretty much just like... There's a lot of ways to optimize this single story in like little ways, like as you get more comfortable with the run. And if you do the Thief Shrine variant, which gives you the Thief class to cast Armor Corrosive, pretty much every single boss, but the last one after the first turn is 100% consistent, so that's why I'm not kidding when I say Ophelia's single story is the beginner's single story of choice. So I learned 1,000 spears here because it deals minimum of it hits 3 times minimum here, and these dragons have a total of 2 shields in between each, and they are pretty hard to hit. So having 3 guaranteed hits is extremely nice, because one of them's guaranteed to be broken, and then it's still slightly risky, but it's extremely nice to have. Yeah, so a good kind of summary of what we're working up to here is that we found out that one of the main boss we face has has a cult, and Ophi's trying to stop them. So that's basically all you need to know about the story. Yeah, so Ophi gets prisoned here. They let her out for whichever reason, because basically his cult is trying to do a ritual to summon the dark god Galdi Waldi, which shoutouts to the Galdi route, which is actually what I mainly run, which is about a 3.5 hour long category. So there's pretty much categories for everyone. And it's whichever you prefer to do. I generally actually tend to do the longer routes and not as much the shorter routes, because Galdi is just a very challenging thinking on the spot route. But yeah, here's pretty much the last kind of dangerous area. I'm hoping to be able to make it to the save point without getting an encounter. And the monsters in here are also generally pretty tough to break, so nice. So we're pretty much want to save and quit here, because in here has another 30,000 leaves. Because, spoiler alert, we need a total of 120,000 leaves to pay to win. Alright, so this is a 2-parter. This is sort of a precursor battle. The main dangerous thing these cultists can do is throw funny stones at us, so I'm gonna ask these cultists nicely to not throw funny stones at us. Thank you.
Yes.
Or should I say thank you? So we're just gonna chuck a couple soul stones here. So I'm keeping mental count on my soul stones here, because the more soul stones I have, the better generally. Because that'll give me more of a buffer to handle Mr. Warward's little shenanigans. So a good guideline that I can use is basically I need inhibit defenses at least once to be able to defeat this next boss. But before I explain that, enjoy this funny dialogue.
Spout all the pretty words you like. You know the truth. She will never again know the happiness she once did. Why do you rob your sister of the hope I offer her? What else does she have with that futile wish?
She still has so much more, whether she sees it or not. Every tie you have to another person, small though it might be, will help you rise again when you have fallen.
I just leaned forward in my chair. That was awesome.
A good line from Ophelia, honestly. Shoutouts to her.
I'm locked in.
Alright, so I am safe on this, so I would just, I don't need to do anything with Tressa. I have a good turn order, so I just can choose to skip this. And generally, I would just chuck vets here, but I'm gonna hope Mr. Warrior here gets, does his job. There we go, almost perfect. So I'm just going to healing grape myself here. And then so here's the nice use of reflecting veil. So Matthias here always does magic attack when he is out of break. So I basically am just going to use that to my advantage here. to deal a little bit of extra magic damage.
Bonds of love and friendship are but fragile. They all break in the end. All of them.
No, we will never be broken apart. I believe in Liana.
Oh, you sound quite confident. I wonder how long you would cling to.
Alright, so I'm gonna palm Tressa here, and I'm gonna hope Mr. Worrywart here does his job, or else I will be a very sad panda. He had one job, Mr. Worrywart. That's okay, I think I can still handle this if I get good luck, but I also might extend this. That's not a great turn order. So I'm gonna start chucking stones. That's actually really good. I might be able to defeat Matthias here without stones, but I'm actually just gonna take the safe and do one more turn. Because I think we need a little more dialogue in our life here.
What to do? Let me help. They'll not be defeated.
Now summon. Oh, congratulations, Mr. Worrywart, you did it!
Yeah.
Desire to revive her dear father meant far more to Liana than your fragile bonds of sisterhood. You were never her true family. Admit it! One such as you cannot save her from her sorrow and despair.
I was once saved by her kindness and her love. She pulled me out of the darkness I had shut myself away in.
Shoutouts to woman.
This time, I will save her. I will not lose to you.
You are a nuisance and nothing more. Disappear from me. One day, Liana will have nothing left to cling to but Galdera and her savior.
I got a really good turn order here, so I can actually afford to do this. So we pretty much win from here. We got the inhibits that we needed. And then we can just spam sword attacks here. Thank you, Mr. Worrywart. Thank you for your service. By the way, time's coming up here. These last bets should do the trick here. Goodbye, Matthias. So after this last set of bar fills here, time.
GG.
So that run was very smooth. I hope you all enjoyed Matthias's really long monologue.
That was great. Like I said, I was locked in.
I hope so. Thanks for having me, Anarchy.
Of course.
And thanks for the GGs, fellow gamers. This is always fun to do Octopath for Hotfix. And again, I cannot stress this enough. Ophelia single story is an extreme. Even if you have not played Octopath Traveler, and if you just want to like a first time playing this game as speedrun, this is one of the perfect runs for it. They're extremely accessible, under an hour once you've done a couple runs, and also a very good community. Would recommend y'all join the Octopath Discord. Everyone there is very happy to answer questions. And yeah, shoutouts to just the Octopath community and the Hotfix gamers and all of GDQ for being awesome people. For coming on here to watch the shows. And because it's still 10 and it's also 10 p.m. here, Pacific, but all day, every day, trans rights are human rights.
Of course, before you go, where can the people find you, Sanjan?
Right, so you gamers can find me on twitch.tv/, /Sanjan_. I have not streamed in a while because I have been very busy, but right now I'll be speedrunning, or not right now, but like I'll be back soon. TM speedrunning Chrono Cross, which is a 6 to 7 hour speedrun. So if you like your good music and chill gaming or chill speed gaming, that's what I'm here for. Otherwise, you can find me on the usual social media. You can find me on the social media internets. Blue Sky is sanjan.info, and I think my Twitter is sanjanrs. And some of y'all have seen me around the FF communities. I do production for them, and shoutouts to FF, shoutouts to women, shoutouts to
women,
trans gamers. And other than that, also send pizza to your fellow trans gamers, especially in these times.
100%.
Or whichever they like. But other than that, I don't have anything else. Thanks for having me on, gamers, and see y'all around.
Of course. Thank you so much, Sanjan, for that amazing run of Octopath Traveler. Without further ado, everyone, I think that is going to be a night. It's late. I'm tired. My butt hurts from sitting in the chair for a while. So real quick before we go, do want to do one last announcement. Though the submissions are closed, Summer Games Done Quick 2025 will be live in Minneapolis from July 6th through the 13th. If you would like to, well, I guess you're not going to do that actually because they just closed, but do use !SGDQ in the Twitch chat or visit gamesdonequick.com for more information about the upcoming event. But thank you all so much for watching this episode of Hidden Heroes. Once again, just because it is the end of March, the end of Women's History Month, and it is no longer Trans Day of Visibility, know that you are all awesome, you are all appreciated, you are all loved. And of course, my friends, you are all heroes, and you're all great. And good night, and we'll see you tomorrow for more live GDQ Hotfix. If you want to, stick around for the replay.